In a world where stars weave into dreams and hope gleams like a beacon in the darkest night, lies the gateway to a new adventure. Step into a magical realm of endless possibilities, where every whisper echoes with confidence, and every heartbeat carries the promise of greatness. Welcome to George Adams's transformative text, You Can, an enchanting journey through the landscapes of self-mastery and the power of self-discovery. Here, you'll learn that the tallest peaks are conquered with bold steps, the vastest oceans crossed with courage, and the loftiest dreams brought to life with unwavering determination. Let Adams be your guide on this remarkable voyage as you venture into a world where limits vanish and potential knows no bounds. With each word, you'll find the strength to meet challenges head-on and pursue your aspirations with unshakable belief. Prepare to awaken your hidden potential, embrace your deepest passions, and unearth the hero within. On this journey, you will discover that you can achieve greatness, and so much more. You can become everything the seed within you desires, but to realize all your potential, to dominate and succeed, you must have ideal goals and lofty ambitions, all coupled with a will of iron. You alone determine the height to which you must rise. You can see the summit clearly, so start now. You can take command of yourself at any moment, whenever you wish. You can make a significant mark in the world of work. No one is your master. 100% of the actions of your personal corporation belong to you. The little people of destruction who moan at your door do so at every energetic person's door. You can turn them into mere pygmies in terms of their power over your future. You are doing it now. Keep going. You can achieve smiles, joys, and continued youth simply by dedicating yourself to your own trade and steering your own wheel with the best of yourself as your home port. The results will take care of themselves. Don't worry about ridicule, criticism, and erroneous judgments from others. Time will erase them all if your accumulated strength of character has taught you to wait. Today are the plans of yesterday put into action. Tomorrow begins today. Your value to yourself and the world is measured by what you bring each day in usefulness. Success is the sum of days, so do it today. You can ensure your success through work, sacrifice, enthusiasm, altruism, and self-control. You are the master of your own destiny. Take personal command of yourself. You can. 50/50ths. No name in the world legitimately receives more than it gives, and if it does, it is simply a thief, a disgrace first to itself and then to everyone else. Fair division is always the just division, half for you and half for him. In other words, on the basis of 50/50ths, rejoice in giving as much as you receive. You who are an employee, are you sure you are giving in service as much as you receive in money, experience, inspiration, and training from your employer right now? Make an invoice. Do the results look like 50/50ths? If not, put this plan into action. This 50/50 plan, interpreted correctly, means death for whiners, malcontents, and assassins of success. Not 5 of them can coexist in the same atmosphere. The air is too invigorating. Rejoice in giving as much as in receiving. All disputes in this world are due to a lack of the 50/50ths principle. Broken homes, disintegrated businesses, abandoned friendships, and scattered world armies all need principle at every phase of life. But it will never become a rule of daily action until you, in your place, begin to apply the 50/50ths. Rejoice in giving as much as in receiving. Silence, yes. Silence is often golden, as you already know, but try to realize it more forcefully, for the silent man is often the thinking man, and the silent worker is the one who gets things done. But best of all, silence, as a rule of daily conduct, makes you great and powerful. Do not retort. The great doers of the world have all been men and women of few words. Napoleon, Cromwell, Washington, Grant, Lincoln, Marshall, Edison. These men had no time for disputes. Do not retort. The world is beginning to understand the idea of silence. Fewer words, more deeds. It is the great law of nature. It becomes the great law of business, for silence cannot be contradicted. There is nothing to respond to. Do not retort. Look around you. You admire the silent ones, those who attend to their own affairs and build. You know the names of the useful men in your city. You cannot make them waste their time. You cannot anger them. You cannot steal from them. Their silence is their wealth, and every time they walk the streets, they say it all. Add another slogan to those you already have. Silence. Do not retort. Health. Few people wear out prematurely. Most rust, worry, tire, and scatter. A machine must be well maintained and its various parts properly adjusted. No machine approaches the human machine when it is in good condition, in good health. One must be confident in the air and exercise. No great battle has been won with obsolete artillery, and it is also impossible for men or women to give their best with weak, poorly cared for and abused bodies. For health alerts every quality of the soul and makes the brain, heart and nerves work in harmony, achieving great things through action. Be confident in the air and exercise. Fresh air, healthy exercise and some good hobbies provide the human body with a benefit that no pill in creation can match. Furthermore, by adjusting your pace with many 22-carat smiles, you have a powerful and very practical home remedy for health. Be confident in the air and exercise. You have time to eat, time to earn money, time to go to bed. When abuse causes you pain, you will need to take the time to die. It's common sense. Time must be taken to achieve health. Be confident in the air and exercise. Everyone is invigorated and inspired by the vibrant health and warm magnetism that one instantly feels in a healthy person. It is the healthy person who gets things done, who succeeds, who has time to get fresh air, exercise, and take care of their health. It is also the one who accomplishes twice the work of the weak, and has most of the time. Be confident in the air and exercise. If you aspire to great work positions, you must necessarily aspire to obtain a resilient, healthy body. Half of health is in the mind, the rest is in getting fresh air, and giving every muscle and organ of the body a good dose of daily activity, through use and exercise. Let this thought radiate from your face and your attitude toward every man, woman, or child you meet. I am a happy and healthy human being. Be confident in the air and exercise. Character is the total sum, the value of what a man possesses after gaining everything, and the only thing he has left after losing everything. Character is power. J.P. Morgan, the greatest financial power in the world at the time of his death, once swore under oath that character is the only indicator of a man, or the only rule by which he can be measured in business, and that physical assets are therefore of lesser importance. Character is power. The walls of character that a man builds will withstand the most ruthless attacks that anyone can direct against them. A man's or woman's good character is absolutely impregnable. Reputation may be tarnished, but not character. For reputation is what people can say a man is, but character is what he really is. Character is power. Character is greater than talent, genius, fame, money, friends. There is nothing that can compare to it. A man may have all of these and still remain relatively useless, unhappy, and die bankrupt of the soul. But character pays endless dividends. It shapes a man into a powerful doer and builds him an immortal name. Character is power. Character is power in business, at home, on the street, and everywhere, and it is free to the man who is willing to be kind, honest, fair, broad-minded, generous, loyal, fearless, and great. Imprint your character on people today and let it guide your work. Let it lead you, but strive every hour to make it stronger. Character is power. Errors. Study your errors. There are two types of errors: those that occur from ordinary human thought being wrong, and those that come from neglect and thoughtlessness. Study your errors. No one is too great to make mistakes. The secret is that the immense man is greater than his errors because he rises from them and overcomes them. After one of Henry Ward Beecher's sermons at Plymouth Church in Brooklyn, a young man approached him and said, "Mr. Beecher, did you know that you made a grammatical error in your sermon this morning?" Beecher replied, "A grammatical error? I'd bet my hat that I made 40 of them. Half of a determined man's strength comes from his mistakes of one type or another because they help him stay human." Study your errors. But the errors that sap a man's strength, that weaken and make him soft, are the foolish and reckless errors. The clerk who forgets, the stenographer who doesn't care, the worker who neglects his job. These are the ones whose vital blood and vitality are drained and absorbed by failure. Study your errors. One of the great things each day for you is to do the best you can without dwelling on mistakes. But once your work is done and you realize your errors, do not be discouraged, do not complain, do not be demoralized. Simply analyze your mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Routines. One of the important lessons in life is to learn not to fall into routines. Everyone is bound to fall into them at some point, but you must get out immediately because staying in a routine means staying stationary and stagnant, while others pass you by and forget you. Keep your eyes open and your mind awake. Be wary of the routine of imitation, the routine that pulls you away from your own work and ideas and turns you into a duplicate rather than an original. Creators are a class apart. Pay homage to the head on your own shoulders. Cultivate the habit of initiative. Keep your eyes open and your mind awake. Think, gather new ideas, embrace them, read, benefit from the minds of past eras, compare them with the advances of thought and experiences of your time. Dive into mysteries, seek the truths they contain, learn something new each day, and you will be prepared not to fall into routine. Keep your eyes open and your mind alert. Vary your work each day as much as possible. Think of new ways to do old tasks. The brain works faster when it is more interested. Love your work. If you don't love it, find work that you do. Keep your eyes open and your mind alert. Finally, be kind to your own human machine. Give it rest from time to time. Immerse yourself in new environments, see new faces, and discover new landscapes. Find pleasure among those who do and dare. Avoid those who smile hypocritically and pass by those who scowl. Now listen to this little talk again, resolving that from this moment on you will steer clear of routine business. Together. For this little talk, let's assume the word together is derived from the three words en and semble. In any case, it is very likely that when people come together, or when all individual forces unite, what is desired comes to pass. Getting there means being together. Analyze a human error. Here's what we learn. Everything is separated. Everything is disconnected. His brain is not organized. Most of his fine sensitivities are numbed or dead. His will is no longer master of the earth. It is only a guest, a mediocre, hungry one. His original executive and assistant strength, once alert, healthy, and willing, is out in the yard dozing. Confusion and ruin are everywhere. Chaos reigns. What is the remedy? Getting there means being together. It is wonderful the change that occurs when a man gathers all his forces and focuses them to do one thing at a time. The idea of togetherness is the progressive idea. Where there is a will, there is a way, but willpower is useless without the plan that supports it. Plan, will, way. With everything together, things come to fruition. Getting there means being together. When you start dividing your interests or spreading your forces, you start losing your grip. When you gather all your forces, you increase your power. Great things are done in a unified plan. The scattershot will destroy the smaller house, but it takes the bullets of a single rifle to bring down the larger house. Getting there means being together. Weigh and consider this thought as you face your work each day. Give it a place of honor as a rule of work, to gather and then to stay together. Winning. The first commandment of the Victory Decalogue is to maintain high spirits. Tackle the first task that presents itself. Approach it on all fours if necessary. Concentrate all your enthusiasm on it. Study every detail. Put your heart into it and don't forget to keep your head up. People who look down never get an idea of the sky where the stars are placed, and those who do not hitch at least one or two of their wagons to a star never reach great heights. Lift your eyes from the ground. Look ahead. Keep your head up. After all, winning is something internal first, then external. No other man will win or can win for you. No other man in the world, however exalted, has the capacity and power that focus in you, waiting for some action to set them in motion. Your success can be like no other man's, but it is up to you alone to find one thing and do the work. It is very rewarding throughout. You too must keep your head up. It is easier to win than to fail. Everyone sides with the winner, while the one who fails walks alone. Keep your head up. Remember that winning is about doing your job well today. What is delayed or postponed is what is not done. Start now. Straighten your shoulders, look straight ahead, clench your fist, set your jaw, and keep your head up. This is how you will save time. Learn to use your time, because if you do not, time will pass never to return, and it will do so without regard to your pain and regret, with the same constancy, silence, and gentleness as this old earth moves on its path. Thus time advances. It never stops to lace its shoes. It never waits. Time is effort well utilized and strictly worked. Time has no business, does not boast of possessing millions of dollars, employs no swift-legged couriers, harbors no employees, does not think of problems, and does not govern states. Time is business, money, errand boy, employee, problem, state. Time is nothing but man in action, set to work, and the time used to enjoy today will accumulate power for you tomorrow. as surely as time moves forward. Do not dwell on small things. Attempt great things. Remember that this day will never rise again. However, as powerful as time is, invaluable compared to everything else in the world, time is the most free thing there is. Perhaps that is why so many people do not take it seriously and enthusiastically. Perhaps that is why they do not realize its presence and let it pass. Think. No matter what your work is today, if it is worth it, the time to plan it, the time to do it well, and the time to finish it is the greatest gift of your day and your best work. Learn to use your time. Success in success, defeat is just an incident. Obstacles, stumbling blocks, and disappointments of ideals all intertwine to form the ornament of success. Success is nothing more than a series of failures set in motion. Learn to overcome failures. A few years ago, a young man worked behind a counter in New England as an employee. He was quiet, honest, and faithful, but despite this, he was considered a failure in the eyes of his boss. One day, the boss took the young man's father aside and advised him to bring his son back to the farm, as he believed the boy would never become a merchant. Today, if you walk down State Street in Chicago, you can view the monument to this young man, a tribute to failures, disappointments, and the unwavering persistence of Marshall, the greatest merchant in the world. Learn to overcome failures, but success is not just measured in tangible assets. Lincoln left almost nothing in terms of money, yet his success is a marvel in the inspiration of ages. Learn to move past failures. Success is largely a matter of personal perspective. It is impossible to fail permanently if you are determined to succeed. Let each new day of your life take its own assessment. Let it record failures alongside successes. Keep your own record, yes, but within your own conscience. Let nothing take away the image you desire of your mind. The knowledge that true success consists entirely of temporarily sacrificing repeated failures in order to achieve lasting success in worthwhile endeavors. Learn to move past failures. Dare. Immortality is nothing more than a simple matter of decision. A decision to dare. Begin. Dare. Everyone loves the man who is not afraid to dare, a man ready to start something without waiting a week to calculate the cost. It always takes courage, sometimes mixed with blood and iron, because the man ready to dare is the creator of significant events. Begin, dare. It is better to make a healthy advance and be wrong than to fear failure or become timid and hesitant with weak legs. Become a bold and enterprising man, and let the latent powers in every human being rise to help and propel you. Begin, dare. You will never be anything unless you dare to something. Start, dare. Dare to try new things, dare to try new jobs, dare to move forward by putting aside the old if necessary, and you won't have time to pull from your sorrow the shattered hopes and dead dreams. Dare to be a better man in your current task than the man who preceded you. Dare to be a greater man than the one above you. But if you want to be first, you must begin. Dare. There are two types of spines. One that has a backbone and no bones, and one that has a backbone and bones. A few great things have been accomplished in your name. Strengthen your backbone. It is great to have a large brain, a fertile imagination, great ideals, but a man with these without a strong backbone is sure to be of no useful purpose. Strengthen your backbone. There is a small vine that starts at the base of great trees and then climbs and wraps around until it strangles and undermines the tree it clings to. It has neither backbone nor individual vitality, so it seeks to topple or kill where there is strength, power, and life. That is what those without a backbone do. Harden your backbone. Use it to be alone. Use it to strengthen your own individual resources. Use it to strengthen weaker spines than yours. Use it to work all your character. Then facts will gather around you in battalions, and opportunity will be eager to present you to its friends. Harden your backbone. Use it in your work today. You who are an employee whose fingers crush the keys, you whose brain formulates plans, distributes details, and masters problems, because the temple of success is supported by the strong arms of men and women who have a backbone and use it, says Emerson. The strongest man on earth is the one who is most alone. You owe money, you are in debt, and you stand thanks to the sweat of others' brows and the grey matter of other men who have earned and acquired. You do not stand alone, you are playing false with your own strength. Detest debt and pay it. Debt means you owe someone. It means you are relinquishing what could be yours. It means you are selling a part of yourself for a fixed sum. When you owe money, you become a slave. The other holds you in literal bondage. Detest debt. Paying it is the quickest way to kill a friend. The most valuable asset on earth is to ask a friend to lend you money. If he is truly a friend, he will refuse. If he is truly a man, he will learn the lesson and thank you. The man who sets a rule to live within his means soon creates ways to live beyond them. There is only one safe, solid, and sensible rule regarding money. Pay as you go, or do not do it. Detest debt, pay. Start today. Be prepared to do it. Ignite the fire and enthusiasm of freedom and power that follow the path of the man who does not owe a dollar to another. Detest debt, pay, and see if there is a pure element of chance in the world, or if it actually appears in the sum of things. It is then that the day you find the job of your life and glory in it counts, the luck you have for yourself, so tell it. The world must know. To be someone in the count of the multitude, no man counts until he assumes responsibility. Responsibility demands the work of the brain and the heart. These two working together generate ideas. Then results begin to appear. Results make you count, to be someone in the count of the multitude. Useful people always count. So if you want to count, if you want to be distinguished and praised rightly, think of the most useful service you can render, then set about doing it. In working, do your best and make sure it counts. You will be someone in the count of the multitude. Nothing moves or inspires more than being told that you are someone who counts, that you are a creator, a builder, a producer. Everyone has the right to congratulate themselves if they do things. If they truly count, they will be someone in the count of the multitude. But do not be foolish enough to be completely satisfied with the results of any work. Growth largely occurs through comparison. When you do your work better than yesterday, you realize your true capability and understand that there is no real perfection except doing better today than yesterday. Strive to do this, and you won't have to worry about whether you count or not. You will simply do it because before doing something, ask yourself why. Much of the world's wasted agitation results from hasty action, i.e., undertaking a task without cause, without a defined purpose, without first asking why. Before doing something, ask yourself why. Let the why guide and empower you. Respond promptly to its silent inquiries. Give the why a substantial reason for the fiber within you before doing something. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why you should do this. Why should you refrain from doing it? Test your actions against the why. Consider the wealth of happiness that the regular use of why can bring you. Before doing something, ask yourself why. Make the why very personal. Why waste so much time? Why don't I also appreciate the possibility of living? Why do I use such a small fraction of my brain power? Why don't I make more friends? Why do I worry about things that never happen? Why do I scold when I should rejoice? Before doing something, ask yourself why. Keep the why busy in your home, and at the end of each day, gather in a convention the whys of each thought and action. Before doing something, ask yourself why. Eliminate the repentant why. Step onto the stage each hour. Ask and answer firmly and freely, without fear of the right realized with conscience. Frankness. Frankness is the art of saying things honestly, exactly as you think them. To be frank is to be so by nature. One must look the other in the eyes. Frankness between employer and employee, frankness between a man or woman, frankness between oneself and those who disagree, is the only sensible path. One must look the other in the eyes. The principle of mutual respect is trust. Nothing has ever been satisfactorily obtained without frankness. One must look the other in the eyes. Never think that frankness is insolence or a coarse opinion. It is the face-to-face openness of mind and heart, which challenges the immediate acceptance of what you have to say as undistorted truth. One must look the other in the eyes. Do not cover yourself to stand on your own legs. Be frank, and you will be amazed at how easily others will understand and respect you. Frankness is a very precious possession. It is possible for everyone except the cowardly. Start practicing frankness. Make it earn you shelter and food. Say what you have to say with frankness. Look the other in the eyes. Faces. The most wonderful of all works is the human face. It is strange that among the billions of faces made since time began, none are exactly alike. It is also strange that no face remains the same for long. Do something with your face. The face is the revelation of character. Just as the hand, guided by the brain's commands, clears vast lands, builds great cities, and carves living figures into bare rocks, it is the story of human achievements. Thus, the brain and thought of a man sculpt daily the secret works of his ideals and designs into the lines and plans of his own face. Something happens with your face. There is one thing a man cannot hide: his own face. Wherever he goes, his face must go. What a tremendous responsibility it is to make your face a good companion, a faithful servant, an active force, an interesting study, a face worth remembering. Thus, with your face, the only way to accomplish something is to work on your character. Your face never lies. It may be a comical image, a comedy of errors, a Shakespearean tragedy, a piece of chiseled power, or a broken god, but it is not a lie. If you want to know what kind of person someone is, study the history of his face. Do something with your face. No one could gain an audience if he wrote a whole library of malicious tales about Lincoln. His wonderful face would contradict them all. To know what kind of person a man is, study his face. His character is proclaimed here like trumpet tones. Do not be foolish enough to try to skip the caution of your own pace. It cannot be better to start associating more with it, for it is your greatest asset, as no one can take it from you. Remember the name, if possible. He once wrote these wonderful words: "Learn as if you were to live forever. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Be responsible first and foremost to yourself." Responsibility is something everyone must face and from which no one can escape. As long as there is life in the world, be responsible first and foremost to yourself. Individual responsibility, that is what makes a man. Without it, there is no man. Know that you must assume responsibility to your employer, your friend, or your household, but your first responsibility is to yourself. If you are weak and false with yourself, if you hesitate to do the things that give meaning to your life and success, then you are already a failure. Be responsible to yourself first, then feel your responsibility. It is not useless to believe that some things depend solely on you. You who listen to this little sermon, take it seriously. Do not be afraid to try bigger things. Convince yourself that you are worth something and that you can prove it. Important tasks will come to you and elevate you to the importance and richness of the gifts of courage to take and assume responsibility. But remember to be responsible first and foremost to yourself. Happiness is utility overflowing. Happiness is harmonizing with the music of the outdoor parade of life. There is no unhappiness in nature. Lend a hand, make happiness a habit. The people who are happy are those who succeed, not only financially but also in achieving goals and efforts accomplished. Be happy to be happy. Do something worthwhile. Make happiness a habit. The worry that grows the most is the one with the most happy assistants. Happiness breeds health. Health makes the field of natural ability fertile and prepares the ground for the harvest of happiness. Lend a hand. Make happiness a habit. Happiness cannot be bought, even though it is described as the most precious thing of all. At the same time, it is the most free, accessible to everyone, but one must make the effort to grasp it. And once acquired, if you want to keep it, share it. Lend a hand, make happiness a habit. For summed up, happiness is nothing more than being satisfied with your progress, always seeking better things, rejoicing in being alive, thanking God for the opportunity, believing that you have things that no one else in the world has, and simply deciding that you will make this world a wonderful place to stay for a while. Also, it's having something that everyone would desire and giving it to others. Give yourself a hand, make happiness a habit. And imagination. Imagination is the greatest asset that creators in the world have ever had. Money, titles, fortunes, these are insignificant compared to this wonderful gift. Imagination is the creator of all these things in most cases. Cultivate your imagination. You who are listening, have you thought that you wouldn't value the air you breathe if you did not have, to some extent, the power of imagination? Cultivate your imagination. People first do things they envision with their imagination. Macadeo saw with the eye of his mind fast trains carrying thousands of people each day under the Hudson River. Of course, people shrugged and smiled at his dream, but Macadeo realized his dream in the Hudson tunnels. Marconi saw messages from people floating through the airwaves for thousands of miles and dreamed of a marvelous instrument. He was immediately deemed crazy, but he continued on his path and presented the world with the incredible wireless telegraph. Cultivate your imagination. The United States is often called the land of opportunities, but it is also the land of imagination. The most humble flock rises, the highest position of power is the work of imagination. What most contribute is imagination. The modest employee sees himself as the president of the company he works for, and then moves step by step to achieve his goal. His first step towards the presidency was to see himself in that role in his imagination. Cultivate your imagination. Grandpater once said that a swift imagination is the salt of earthly life, without which nature is just a skeleton. But the greater the gift, the greater the responsibility. Cultivate your imagination, nurture it in small things, and then small things will become big things, and big things will take their place among the imperishable things. History is nothing more than the account of the achievements of those who had imagination. Cultivate your imagination. Ghosts. Ghosts do not exist, but ghosts do exist. They are nothing more than the imaginary phantoms of sick and fearful people. They have many names: ghosts of failure, ghosts of the idea, ghosts of error, ghosts of chance, ghosts of regret, and millions more. Face your ghosts, approach them, reach out to them, look them in the eyes, listen to them, then drive them away, for they will never do you any good. Face your ghosts. Ghosts are always at work, at the doctor's office, the lawyer's office, the businessman's office, at home, on the street, everywhere. But ghosts feel uncomfortable in the light. They are born and grow in dark alleys and exist only in the sandbag. Your signal is to keep the lights on, your mind open, your courage alert, and your character impregnable. Face your ghosts. Today, when you read your newspapers, there will be ghosts between the lines of printed characters. Ghosts constantly seek you out and try to pull you back. They love time wasters, the indecisive who fear their work. They thrive among the players of good cheer, the idle rooms, but ghosts slink away like frightened dogs, tails between their legs when they see creators, those who use time, those who set obstacles, and those who blaze the trail. Do not be afraid. Face your ghosts, but do not harbor them. Red-blooded men cannot drag a bunch of ghosts and achieve anything. Face your ghosts. Respect is the name of the companion who guards the door to your conscience. It is the most sacred profession in the gift of your character, because when conscience errs, it becomes ill until death. Nothing that is gained matters if respect is lost. Respect is your most faithful friend, your best guide, your most powerful protector, your safest pilot to the harbor. Nothing that is gained matters if respect is gone. Respect is built at home. You are your own respect. For a man cannot be on better terms with anyone else than with his own self. A man without respect is an impostor, a fraud, a counterfeit. Nothing that is gained matters if respect is lost. Respect yourself and others will be compelled to respect you, and you will respect them too. Respect is the beginning of wisdom. With respect as your guard, look people straight in the eyes without hesitation, with active and fearless respect, and move forward to eliminate the garbage and obstacles and prepare the way for others to follow and benefit. Nothing that is gained matters if respect is lost. Think about it as you move forward today. Let it make you strong. Let it make you indomitable. Let it elevate you from your current position to a higher one. Let it make you a leader. Nothing that is gained matters if respect is lost. General Manager, human beings were created to govern themselves. Otherwise, at birth, each would come with an instruction manual. You are your own General Manager. Realize this, and it will ignite you with fire. Do your work. No one else can see your flaws as clearly as you can. No one else can understand the mysteries of your mind as deeply. No one else can replace your ability to powerfully imagine your own grand ideals and purpose. No one else can dictate the policies and measures of your own life. No one else can achieve as effectively the work and results of your marvelous brain and body machinery. Who runs your shop anyway? You are the General Manager. Do the work. Most of us are merely first, second, third, etc. assistant general managers. Let someone else do our thinking for us. We want the luxury titles and the glory, but we avoid doing the work. You will do the work, or do it without delay. Convene a meeting of your own intellectual faculties. Insist on a complete meeting. Then close the door and get to work. Sit at the head of the table. Discuss frankly and freely the real matters concerning your success in life, but also remember that you are the chief, the force behind all the artillery, the true guiding factor, the real General Manager. Be systematic. Thought, planning, energy, the success of your day is measured in value by your application to each of the systems. Be systematic first. It is the easiest way, and then it is the only way, for without a system, the most formidable tasks will crumble, collapse, and fall into a wreckage of waste and loss. Be systematic with a system, a worthwhile goal, and firm determination. Progress is constant, smooth, and sure. Difficulties disappear, obstacles are cleared, and the completed task is elevated with precision and reality, like steel beams rising towards the sky, shaping and suggesting and realizing the gigantic form of the skyscraper that is completed, all through the system. Be systematic. Get in the habit of approaching even the smallest task through the system. Then the great things will be achieved easily and with pleasure. Be systematic, but do not just apply the system for yourself, teach it to others. Whether you are a stenographer, employee, manager, business owner, no matter your field, make sure the system governs your throne. Be systematic. Sincerity. Be sincere, for it is the mark that imprints and brands your character so that it stands out immediately as authentic. Be sincere. No one trusts a man who does not trust himself. Look others directly in the eyes with confidence and they will trust you. Be sincere. Lack of ability and knowledge is often excused, but lack of sincerity is never excused. Be sincere. Teach the world once and for all that you are sincere, and the agenda will unfold for you smoothly and satisfactorily. Be sincere. Sincerity is more important than money. Just as a magnet attracts and gathers steel particles to it, so a man who has sincerity as his asset attracts people, opportunities, and great works to him. Be sincere. Do not worry if yesterday was a failure. Today stands before you. Try a new instrument. Tighten new strings for a new melody. Seize a new strength. Be sincere, and this day will not have been in vain. All you have to do is be sincere. Dig through all obstacles. Fight to maintain the dignity of your goal. Sweat buckets, but keep digging. The regular and persistent drip of water will wear down the hardest stone. Science says that the rhythmic step of exercise has the power to bring down the most solid bridge. In the same way, determined effort conquers anything, anywhere. To believe it, start digging today. You see another companion grabbing a heap of gold. Yesterday you failed in many things. Do you want money, reputation, glory? Dig. Mental, moral, or financial bankruptcy looks at you shamelessly. Disregard it. Dig. Success is not inherited. To obtain it, you must dig. Every man or woman who has succeeded in something knew how to dig. It is the first letter of the alphabet of doing. Dig. No matter what you want, where you want it, when you want it, you must first know how to dig. Otherwise, you will not succeed. Dig, concentrate, be focused with firmness, courage, boldness, and determination. You must drill a hole through things, no matter what they are. Focus. The wheel of action and business moves by constant rotations around a central axis. In success, the circle, the radius, and the center remain united, thinking, planning, and moving as one. Focus. Results always come to the persevering. Opportunity moves to grasp the hand of the persevering. The leader's eye is irresistibly drawn to the doer's table. Focus. Gather the details. Formulate your plan for the day. Set a rhythm. Make every minute and every movement count. Focus, and the work done will be the goal of the day. The 24 hours of life that are worthwhile, you must be focused. No, be an observer. Do not let anything new appear without first understanding its value, studying its meaning, and absorbing the choice. Learn, discover, learn from nature, from people, from events. Read the thought of each day as much as you can, then apply your knowledge. Always learn, from everything you can, everywhere. Investigate the mysteries, master the difficulties, and discover a paragraph of history. John Milton said, "I am blind, I am over 50 years old, but I am completing my paradise lost." Michelangelo said, "Even though I am 70, I am still learning." John said, "Since I left the stage, I have written Hamlet 30 times. Now I am beginning to understand my art." You who have eyes, ears, and a mouth to speak, learn, discover. Your work today may seem trivial. It may be just official, but it will always remain so if you do not learn, for the path of advancement traces the way of man. Learn, discover. Leadership is only for those who know. Knowledge is certainly power. The guests at the Feast of Success are not favored individuals, but those who have taken the time to learn. If you want to win, learn, think. People pay, ambition is fulfilled. Success comes only to the extent that a man thinks. All great doers were and are great thinkers. Think. Errors, confusion, and dismay are rare calls to the thinking man's brain. Think, do it with a defined purpose. Systematize your ideas. Plan the acts of each of your minutes, hours, and days. Napoleon was a thinker. One day during a crisis in France, he was found in a dark attic studying the streets of Paris and contemplating his best moves for the next day. Think. Be your own silent partner. Think. Be responsible for your own intellectual strength. Think. Forge on the anvil of your own struggles and hard failures. The facts of doing can only come after the most rigorous and laborious thoughts. Think. Start this day with the determination to think about every act you accomplish, knowing that the greatest and most useful results follow the thinking man. Opportunity. Opportunity is a nothing, something unreal, a phantom, and moreover, opportunity is always present, here today and here tomorrow, for moments, hours, days, weeks, months, and years. It lurks unseen and unheard, except when its spirit is felt and seen. Opportunity is the hand of progress for those who are vigilant, and the writing on the wall of failure for the lazy and foolish. For of all the messengers of light, opportunity is the most patient, just, and lenient. Opportunity makes no exceptions of people or times. It is always at work, always waiting, awaiting, and waiting. Man may sleep forever, but opportunity never does. At this moment it is before you throughout the day. It will be at your disposal like a flash. It shows its messages to all, but its appeal is for you. Think, reflect, then act, for opportunity, turned into fact, consists of taking the simplest task at hand and carrying it out in the best way possible. It is considering the minutes without appreciating that others recklessly neglect. It is doing your job better than you are paid for and tackling tasks larger than you think you can handle. Great is the ascent of the man who makes opportunity an early friend and accompanies it on the paths of everyday life. Be loyal. Be faithful. To be loyal is to be at peace with oneself, and one cannot be at peace with oneself without being a good leader. The problem of those who fail is that they let another direct their business. Thus, disloyalty drags, sours, drains, and destroys a man's life away from himself. Be loyal, know your own capabilities better than anyone else. Approach them without delay and learn to be faithful to them. It is a quality beyond price. That is loyalty. The loyal man throughout all times is, of all men, tempted by discouragement. But the man who clings to his faith and is loyal is the man who ultimately feels that growth, teamwork, and power become a part of himself. Be loyal. Loyalty means sacrifice, but sacrifice means success. Be loyal. The steps of achievement, honor, and satisfaction are all stones attached to loyalty. Loyalty to your work and friends. Be loyal. Benefits are reflected in worthy acts. Your work today may seem petty and dark, but the gods see everywhere, and even the slightest disrespect for what you have in hand today can be reflected and hold a significant place in the completed work. Loyal attention from start to finish is the safest and most just path for you. Only this and the results will guard you jealously. Be loyal, have courage. Courage is the art of sitting quietly in a seat without moving or getting excited when the parade of popularity, temporary success, or ridicule passes by your door and turns the corner. Courage steps away from the crowd, remains alone. Courage is the refined native nerve. Courage is not boastful. Courage is not only physical, but moral. Courage is the bare right that submits to the fire and remains intact and unblemished. Courage is the value of the heart manifested in actions. It does not wait for opportunities, but creates them. A day without a bit of courage is a day not worth living. For courage makes the man, and there has never been a true man without courage. Courage is something that is born within you, but is also something that shines brightly through use and cultivation. Have courage today, tomorrow, and every day. Have courage, delight the heart, and strengthen the soul. Provoke smiles within the system, and awaken the circulation in a person, pushing them to step out and give their best in the most humble endeavor. You can never fail if you have courage, but you can never win without it. Have courage, fight, learn to be a fighter, not with fists, sticks, or swords, but through the noble control of the forces at your disposal, generated by your own brain. For great victories are achieved in the daily battles of life, over the endless difficulties that almost every hour faces. Learn to be a fighter, then fight, face, struggle hand to hand, fiercely but fairly, and when everyone considers you a loser and calls you a failure, that is your signal to finish the fight and win. Learn to be a fighter. You may not always win, but never admit it. Half of all failures remain in the graves of the conquerors, and the flowers of God and the winds of eternal fame refresh and soften the sleeping souls who did not know how to die. Learn to be a fighter. Whatever your job today, make it a battlefield. Gather the best of yourself and face and overcome all obstacles that try to make this day the hardest, the most precious of all your days for others and yourself. Struggle for every inch of the way. Do not retreat and accept none. Go to bed with the spirit and satisfaction of a conqueror. Learn to be a fighter. Hang on, just hang on, hang on. This is the essence of the beginning and end of success. The one who remains is the man who manages to hold on. Everyone starts, but not everyone stays. Yesterday you may have failed, but today you can win if you stay firm. All winners wear a badge with the label "Hang On." Today, when you feel like giving up, hold on. If someone tries to bring out the best in you, stay. You will do it. Otherwise, stay. Great successes in business and life are just repetitions of the same story, the story of men who knew how to hang on. You might not like your job, but think before changing it. Very few know how to hang on. Very few care where they stay. Think about it patiently then, whether it is a job or a task. Do not give up. Hang on today. Start doing things, and do not stop until you complete them in the best possible way. Simply hang on. First, have confidence in yourself, then confidence in what you undertake, and then confidence in the result. Faith is the ability to believe that you have won before you even do. It is the art of defeating the enemy, obstacles, or your opponent's plans before they are organized with certainty. For faith involves taking victory in hand from the start. Have faith. The great stories of success from the beginning of time are nothing but accounts of men and women who had faith. Faith nourishes the hungry in adversity it clothes, and warms those in need in temporary failure, for faith builds, it cannot destroy. Have faith. Your success is limited by your faith. The results of faith live without limits. Encourage yourself. Have faith. The only time people fail is when they lose faith. The batter in a baseball game, the soldier on a battlefield, the leader in politics, the executive in charge of a task or business, the humblest worker, all advance and do their best only when inspired by faith. Have faith. Enthusiasm is what happens to a person when, taking over, they discover that their heart, head, and determination are finally united and have become a part of the main opportunity. Enthusiasm is a process, not a mere condition. Almost everyone has a head, a heart, and determination, but it is those who have enough common sense to bring them together in the same place, at the same time, with the same goal, who start things and move the times forward. Enthusiasm is the spark that ignites action, that moves a person forward, that finds the cows and brings them home. Get enthusiasm, and you will keep moving forward. No one can stop you. Enthusiasm is what breaks through stone walls, pierces through great rivers, wins battles, maps out cities, villages, and nations, changes maps, and makes history possible. You, at your desk, at your plow, at your broom, at your axe, at your bat, at your pen, no matter who you are or where you are. Keep courage, hope, and enthusiasm, for enthusiasm initiates things, gives them shape, makes them what they are. Start today to mix enthusiasm into your blood, then keep it there. Do it. The one who does is the one who moves, and the one who moves is the one who wins. Do it. Do the things you start. Do what you have in your heart. Do what others might, but do not. Do it while there is time, while there is life, while there is hope. Do it for your own good. Do it because you like it. Do it because you have to. Do it because that is how you start winning. Do it, do the work you have in hand, because work moves forward. Do it when it shines and do it when it rains. Do it despite frowns and do it despite smiles. Do it standing and do it sitting. Do it on your knees and do it at your desk. Do it after failing and do it after succeeding. But whether it is early or late, whether it is here or there, do it. Do it now, do it today. I will do it. I will make sure this day is worthwhile. I will set aside the past, remembering only the precious path traveled so far. Now I will undertake today's work as a personal promise, to do it to the best of my ability, with interest and enthusiasm. I will do the things I could not do before. I will try to do new things that I now know I can accomplish. I will continue, I will engage. In today's match with a warm heart and a cool head, I will smile when I feel like frowning. I will be patient when I feel like reprimanding. Asterisk, asterisk. I will take personal control of myself. I will be loyal to the company I work for, faithful to all my trusts. I will master the smallest details. I will move forward without hitting. I will do rather than try. I will do rather than wait. I will work because I love it. I will be fair and just, for there is no other way to win. I will do what is right because it is right. I will endure defeat if it comes, for sometimes it is good medicine. I will sweat for the courageous effort, determined to succeed at all times. I will be mindful of my time, concerned about my health, and jealous of my honor. I will work to make this day great for everyone I come into contact with. I will work for the people I serve with all my heart, soul, and strength. For in the glory and success of my concern lies the glory and success of my own being. I will make this day worthwhile. Smile, smile. The smiling face is the one everyone seeks and wants. Smile because the one who smiles is the one who rises, and the one who smiles is the one who wins. Smile if doubt and defeat strike you. Sometimes smile. Smile when it rains, when you think it should be sunny. Smile, start smiling. The smiling worker is the productive worker. Smile, many things have been accomplished and brought about thanks to smiles, things that this world dreams of. Smile, a loser does not want to smile and cannot do it. A winner wants to smile and cannot help it. Smile, smiles beget smiles. Smiles warm the blood, straighten the back, and renew courage. Smile when you wake up, smile when you leave, and smile when you return. Smile when you start your work, and smile when you finish it. For smiles prevent the day from becoming boring, and smiles prevent the well from drying up. Smiles are the beacons of success, and always show the way of the one who wins the day. Smile, persevere. Courage is the art of merging a man's mind, heart, and soul to attack failure in a concerted and demanding way. Courage is what seizes the raw edge of victory and chews it until it is easy to digest. Those who persevere win, get what they want. Courage began the world's action and has made things move since then. If courage is lost, all is lost. Courage is what prevents one from becoming a beggar, what helps grasp the hand of progress. Courage is the artisan of masters who dominate all things. Courage drives the stakes that mark the way. Courage is what prevents a fighter from becoming rancid. Courage brings food home, paves the way for the worker and the producer. Courage is the pivot on which the goals, ideals, and hopes of fighters rest. Until success. Without sweat, without sweetness, without perseverance, without glory, there is nothing. So find perseverance, opportunities. Seize the opportunities that come your way, for it is the approach to the goal right in front. The transformation of opportunity into achievement is what motivates and stimulates the person striving to accomplish the dreamed, planned, and realized fact. Take every opportunity. First observe it, then seize it, then live it in your soul. Remembering that seen and seized opportunities create ideas, shape the character of powerful men, and ensure success. Master the trivial and great things will become perfectly clear and exact facts. This is especially true for beginners in great things that start small. Facts determine the value of the opportunity seized by the man. The great tasks of the world hide under the smallest opportunities sought with quiet patience and cold courage. If past opportunities seem neglected, ignored, or unseen, future opportunities are approaching you from the front, or perhaps they are latent but ready. Seek them, find them, then hold on to them forever. Success follows nailed opportunities, things done and achieved after the opportunities. Take them, bright and new, and build from this day things worth doing. Seize the opportunities that come your way. Be aware, be righteous. The most miserable man of all is the one with a worn, tired, and whiny conscience. Be righteous. Conscience is the companion that sits on the throne of your soul and gives the danger signal when your ship sees icebergs. Conscience is the pilot of a man's hope towards success. Conscience is the signal of occupation that stops a man just when he is about to do what he should not do, but wants to do. Be righteous. Conscience is the voice of duty in everyday clothes. Be righteous. Conscience is what you feel but do not hear. Conscience is the calm, strong, silent, and invisible force that is always with you, that always gives you a nudge in the ribs, that warns you that you are on the wrong path, traveling in the wrong direction, playing the wrong game, regardless of any other attention, signal, or call. Listen, listen, and obey your conscience to the letter. Be righteous. The man with a conscience does business with a conscience. Business with conscience makes a nation with conscience. Conscience in power is the true realization of a throne. Be righteous as a man or woman. Think about it. Conscience for you is like no other conscience for any other man or woman, and the height to which peace and power can rise within you can only be proportional to the peace and power that obedience to conscience brings. Therefore, follow your own conscience to the end. Be righteous. **** Punctuality. Be punctual. Due to Marshal Grouchy's delay in the French army during the Battle of Waterloo, Blucher had time to bring his army to aid Wellington. Napoleon gave the order correctly. But if the man to whom he entrusted those orders had not made a mistake and had not arrived late, all of Europe's history from 1815 would have changed. Be punctual. The train arrived late. It is the most common explanation behind a terrible accident, where many lives were lost, where armies of men and women were deprived of their positions and honor, where unspeakable suffering and humiliation followed the path of the late Mr. Late. Nothing pays better than punctuality. Be punctual. Punctuality is the act of being at work when called, and responding to that call not nearby, but there. Be punctual. Time marks its minutes with uniform and irregular strokes. Work, appointments, orders, friends, opportunities do not wait to be brushed by. Be punctual. Do not be deceived by the cheap clinking of gold and silver watches, whose possession makes you imagine that you are immune to honor and punctuality of appointments. The lazy do not win. The world, with all its wonderful offerings, freely gives its choice to the man of his word. Be punctual. Be punctual at your table each day, at every appointment throughout the day. The path to greatness begins with being punctual each morning at your own breakfast table. It is the start. Be punctual. Thoughts. Thoughts are what happens when your brain is occupied. Moreover, thoughts are the servants sent by your mind to shape and complete actions. Align your thoughts with the right nourishment. Thoughts are never inherited. Thoughts are individual and belong entirely to you, who creates them. Thus, you are responsible for them in turn. Take care of them diligently. Keep them clean and healthy. Feed your thoughts with the right nourishment. Thoughts are the master builders of heritage, and as sure and clear as the chisel in the sculptor's hands. Let the lines and shape of the finished statue show. This is how thoughts cut and shape your character, and no man can change his work. Thoughts are messengers of events. Feed your thoughts with the right nourishment. Train your thoughts, organize them, focus them, exercise them, keep them. Glory in the company of your individual thoughts, for your thoughts are your best companions. If you corrupt them, if you betray them, you will find yourself useless and abandoned. Feed your thoughts with the right nourishment. As your mind grows in strength, your thoughts increase in power. This is a wise plan. Fill your mind with thoughts that inspire, encourage, and elevate, for in the darkest days of stress and rebellion that come to every life, the efforts of great and useful thoughts emerge to protect and save. Encourage. Push. There are many people on this earth that we do not need, and that we should be able to easily dismiss, for example, those who hit. There is a difference between a hitter and a kicker. Sometimes people kick with good intentions, but a hitter is a plague and a destroyer. Here's how to push hitters into oblivion. Push yourself, push your city, push your business, push your friends, push your ideas, push everything that helps others or yourself. Be someone who pushes, and you cannot avoid being a builder. The one who pushes is a leader, always followed by a crowd. His philosophy spreads quickly, leaving a trail of effort in its wake, while those who follow him etch his name in bronze. Momentum. Propel yourself when you don't know what to do. Momentum doesn't hurt no matter what you're doing, as long as you're doing something. Once you have developed the habit, you should not fear a lack of things to push. They will arise from everywhere. Momentum, if you want to be happy, increases. If you want to rise higher in the world, do it. The busiest and wisest men will be delighted to listen to you if you are a supporter. Learn the art of momentum. It is a great skill, more important than any traction or influence, and greater than merely acquiring money. The battle. The greatest battles are fought everywhere. They are the daily struggles within your own soul against anger, lies, bad habits, wrong judgments, poor health, or adverse circumstances. Everything is constantly a battle to see how far the fiber of the brain and body can be tested, to know that man dominates. Heroes pass before us every day, and we do not know it. Character and strength come from the fight, just like a diamond. which only becomes valuable after very hard work and effort. We all come from the roughest places. We all require being cut, polished, and shaped before we can shine with our beauty and inspiration. Gratitude. Gratitude is the salt that seasons work and the life of the world. Without acknowledgement for what we do, and without consideration for what is done for us, the smallest task would become a burden, and the sun would set in the hearts of people. Express your gratitude often. Gratitude is withheld for fear of being exploited, which is foolish, for such a man exploits himself. Gratitude acts like oil on the dry and worn parts of a machine. Continuous gratitude keeps things running smoothly and also saves wear and tear. Express your gratitude. People waste away, perform half-hearted services, and ultimately fall behind in the race simply due to a lack of recognition. Gratitude is not only one of the most powerful tonics on earth, but also truly necessary food, and without it, no one benefits from a balanced diet. Express your gratitude. If you are an entrepreneur and one of your assistants does good work, tell them. If you are an assistant and your employer encourages you to keep going, say thank you and increase your service. Gratitude touches and stimulates. It reaches the soul of a man like an electric current affecting sensitive nerve centers. Express your gratitude. Appreciate the opportunity to live. Appreciate your health, your home, your father and mother, your friends, your luck. You may not have all these things, but appreciate what you have, and each hour will add superior blessings. Rise up. If the cow spills the bucket of milk, there are more cows and more milk. Rise up. It's the first step. The more you test your own strength, the happier you will be to have it. Rise up and stand firm. Encourage yourself. The best is always to come. Encourage yourself. All you need to do is pursue the best. And joy is so magnetic. Wherever you work or go, you attract people and fortune to your path. Suppose the cow spills the bucket of milk. There are more cows and more milk. Encourage yourself. Smile. Smiles are not counted when they fall to the ground. Smile when facing a day that seems full of setbacks. Smile. There are very few setbacks at any time and in any place. Make no exception. Smile, rise up, settle for nothing, rise up. Carefully and patiently gather the threads of work and experience that make up your full day and use them as a rope to lift yourself higher. Rise up, stand firm. If everyone were always on top and never at the bottom, there would be no reason for this little conversation. Someone is always at the bottom and someone is always at the top. You, who are on top, help those who are at the bottom. Stand up on your own and you will be even higher. A leader. In this world, you need leaders more than any other race of men. Every line of activity demands leaders. Every home, every business, every village, every nation. As long as there are people, there will be many to follow. The demand is for those who can lead. Be a leader. The greatest asset of leadership is courage. Cowards never lead. Leadership requires great patience. No one will follow an irritable or impatient leader. Leadership requires tact, fairness, and trust. A man cannot lead another who does not trust his leadership. Many other things are important, but these are imperative. Be a leader. A leader must inspire and awaken the dormant powers of his followers. He must be able to turn the highest qualities of people into actions. To do this, he must himself have a clean and consistent track record. A man cannot command without authority. A man cannot move others without first moving himself and becoming his own master. Be a leader. It is as important to be a leader in your own home or city as it is to be a leader in your country. It is not the special title under which a man leads that makes his work more important, but the way he leads. It is true, if you lead well in the small affairs of life, you cannot avoid becoming a leader in the large affairs. Be a leader. Vision. Vision is the sight of actions. A great vision means that you see things done through your imagination before they are even attempted. Vision differs from imagination. Imagination takes the images, but vision delivers them to the architects who build things from them. Men with vision are dominant. Pay attention. Gather your ideas so that ideas can germinate. Vision gives them flesh and blood, fuels their firebox, controls their nerves, pumps their heart. Ideas make vision a living being. Pay attention, scorn vision, and you will become a dependent and possessed employee. Court vision, and you will become a master, a holder of unlimited power. Vision is optimism with two healthy eyes. Pay attention, vision reaches the humblest and can be attained by them. It has no patent or copyright. It is a wandering element in the sense of freedom, but it must be sought, found, then nurtured and clothed. Vision does not come to anyone without being married. Pay attention. Your vision is big or small according to your desire. The greater your aspiration, the greater your vision will be. The further you see, the more you will do. Vision is applicable daily. It puts strength behind effort, and it gives permanence to your actions. Pay attention, dampers. Dampers are checks. They are also savers attached to a heating device. They control drafts and save fuel. Humans have dampers. Thought itself is a damper, as is judgment, conscience, caution, and many others. However, no one can know their own dampers as well as you yourself. It is therefore essential to know when to use them. Valves are essential. An open valve in a furnace can heat things to the point of causing an explosion or fire. On the other hand, it can be so closed that it completely extinguishes the furnace. The same goes for dampers that regulate and shape your modes of action and character. You must know when to use your dampers. Study your valves. Some of them are enthusiasm, energy, will, learning, and money. There is a damper for every push. If used wisely, better results are achieved. If enthusiasm takes you away from practicality, turn on the damper of reason. If you engage in things with no other will than to go through them, activate the damper of reflection. Learn as much from books as you do from life and people. Remember that you have dampers, but learn when to use them and make sure you use them yourself. Don't let anyone else put dampers on your enthusiasm, ideas, plans, or work. Activate your own dampers. Study them very carefully to know exactly when and how to use them. This will make the difference between success and failure for you. Bosses. Bosses are fine if they are the right kind of bosses. Throughout nature and human life, the power of the boss runs. Everything would go awry without bosses. That's why it's satisfying to know that you can choose your own boss. There are bosses and bosses. Some people let a small packet of tobacco of 15 centimeters be their boss. Others let a harmless glass of stimulating liquid guide them. Some are governed by a group of stupid and imaginary concerns. Others are commanded by an army of nerves. Some allow an unregulated stomach to be their boss. Others call on clothing and style to dictate to them. Many of these are fine, but none should be called a boss. You can choose your own boss. One of the saddest images in the world is that of a poorly guided man or woman. There, all human miseries germinate. There, failure plants its banners. Let's think for a moment about our bosses. Who is your boss? What bosses command you? You can choose your own boss. That is the way. Put your will under complete control. Make your will the boss. The human will is the greatest and most powerful boss in the world. Nerves, a few words with you. You are not my boss. Habit. Move forward. You are not my boss. Appetite. Just a moment. You are not my boss. Will. Let's shake hands. I choose you as my boss from this day. There will be order, growth, and power in my house. Listen. Listening is learning. Builders of great things take very little time to talk, but are always good listeners. Anyone can obtain a liberal education if they take the time to listen, but it's imperative to absorb what you learn. General Ulysses S. Grant was not a brilliant man. He failed in business, but he strove to be useful. He was endowed with wonderful determination and perseverance. He had character, and today, perched above the waters of the Hudson along the magnificent Riverside Drive in New York, is Grant's tomb, a silent testimony to Grant's life and work as a soldier and president. He was such a wonderful listener that as president he became known as the silent president. Absorb what you learn. Good listening is a great achievement. No one shows their ignorance more quickly than someone who insists on talking without saying anything. If you have something to say, say it. If you have nothing to say, listen. Absorb what you learn. Select the people you listen to. Listen with respect and an open mind. Welcome new ideas, new theories, and new programs. Listen well. You have the right to reject what you don't want, but always keep enough openness to listen. Then, absorb what you learn. Let go. It takes courage to start something. It takes courage to continue something. But it takes even more courage to let go of something you are convinced is a failure, after working, sacrificing, and sweating to achieve it. It takes courage to let go. The foundation of self-sufficiency is self-confidence. If you consider yourself greater than your job, if you feel you are maintaining a $2,500 job with $10,000 skills, quit the $2,500 job and immediately move on to the $10,000 job. Have the courage to let go. The principle is the same in friendship. Nothing stimulates, inspires, and drives a man towards performance like a true friend. But if that friend lacks the desires that accompany true friendship, are you perceptive enough to discern it? Even in friendship, have the courage to let go. Have the courage to let go of minor concerns, little annoyances and trivialities that almost every hour come to you and beg you to accept them. Don't take them lightly because they are small. It takes a strong person to push them out of the way, to overcome them, to abandon them. Have the courage to let go. An active mind attracts to itself like a magnet ideas, theories, and problems. Some are useful, others are not. When they come to you, sort them, weigh them, analyze them, separate them, know them for what they are. Then keep what is useful and set aside what is useless. Have the courage to let go. The way a man treats his clothing will give him a hand with success, and success will lead him into society. Clothing cannot make the man, but a man can easily make his clothing help him make himself. Reveal yourself through your clothing. First of all, clothing gives a sense of self-esteem, yet the sensible man forgets them. But if he doesn't, then they help him to come undone. The cult of clothing color removes character and diminishes its brilliance, because clothing, after all, is primarily for the mind. Otherwise, we could continue dressing in skins. Clothing is a very accurate indicator of a man's true character. Reveal yourself through your clothing. You can do this if you let your clothing be the means and never the end. Clothing and style are two different tribes. Cleanliness and good taste in clothing are most important. Shakespeare's advice was as much as your purse allows, but not flashy. Reveal yourself through your clothing. On the other hand, a carefully selected wardrobe reflecting your individuality and personality becomes one of the most powerful means at your disposal for your growth. Clothing confers prestige. It provides a mental effect between a well-dressed man or woman and their attire. It is immediately stimulating, inviting, and satisfying. The major point, however, is to dress in a way that makes people immediately interested in you rather than your clothes. Reveal yourself through your clothing. Learn simply to be alone. Being healthily alone is being normally fired up. In this solitude, the ideas of the ages reveal themselves. Great souls think, decide, and conquer when they are alone. They self-examine and build themselves. Learn to be alone. Lincoln was alone with his pine knots and borrowed books. Hugo was alone with his modest attic and his pen. He was alone at St. Ips behind the handle of his plough. Wherever great problems or vital decisions needed to be faced, men withdrew quietly to weigh things alone. Learn to decide alone. Emerson said, "Trust yourself. The whole heart resonates with this iron string. Can a man trust himself away from himself? Isn't the vital and ultimate proof of a man the ability to remain absolutely alone in emergency situations? Crowds irritate and disturb, as do punctual and responsible personalities. The crowd gnaws at independence. No one can mislead you like being alone in the morning. No one will ever do for you what you can do alone. Learn to be alone. If you have personal problems to solve, be alone. If you are dissatisfied with what you are, go alone. You will find yourself strangely true to yourself when you re-examine yourself alone. Nothing stimulates like being alone, as long as it is for self-improvement. Learn to be alone. Arbitration means weighing and dividing, that is, weighing the conflict and dividing the guilt, then forgetting the quarrel. Fools always fight, the wise always arbitrate. For fighting is wasteful, and arbitration saves. Sometimes money is saved, sometimes human lives, but always character. Whether the dispute is between you and someone else or between a dozen nations, always arbitrate. Here is something important. Disputes can never be without individual consent. If each person involved refuses to argue and the other or others take over, arbitration must be sought. If people only took the time to think before they argued, there would be no disputes. Try this suggestion within yourself. Remove the controller from your shoulder, explore. God never put brains in human heads to make them mere accessories. Brains are like continents, created to be explored, used, and populated with ideas. But before starting your expedition and exploration, make sure you have a solid point of view to work from. Nothing is as important as having an individual point of view. It is everything for a man, as it is from these that the very image of a man's plan and life ideal emerges. Explore, get a point of view. A man gathers and refines for his immediate use the thousands and thousands of words that make up a language. We cannot forget Webster. He shaped and sharpened the tools and put them in order. Then came Emerson, Poe, Dickens, Macaulay, Scott, and dozens of others. They took a step forward and dug into the toolbox of language. Each, with his own point of view, shaped a literary career. Explore, discover, get a point of view. The whole world is beginning to discover the genius of O. Henry, but as wonderful as his words are, they are nothing compared to his almost superhuman point of view, his way of depicting people in the sky of monotony and oblivion. He will never die as long as printing endures, for he was always in exploration. Get a point of view. Research, think, sacrifice, study, travel, read. Make the spirit of exploration part of your system. But remember, it is what you take away from exploration that makes your expeditions worthwhile, and for that, first get a point of view. The cup of opportunity. There are people who think that the best opportunities are tied with a lace, a strap, and hung for life on someone else's door. But the truth is that no one can corner opportunity. It is everywhere. There is a story of a cup with many handles, so many handles in fact, that no matter which direction a person approached from, there was a handle to grasp. All one had to do was approach and take the handle. Like that cup, opportunity is everywhere. It is the cup, and there is a handle in your town. You can seize it if you want to reach it, and you need not fear that someone else will take the handle, for there is one for every person in your town. Opportunity is everywhere. Think of the cup. Think of its many handles. When something comes up that needs to be done, but you don't want to do it, do it. It's a handle. When something diverts you from your planned task, don't fear it. It's a handle. Grasp it. Always look for one of the handles and get used to using them. This is how you learn that opportunity is everywhere. Dream. Put your dreams to work. The right dream is the anticipated agent of action. Dreams are images of things in the mind that the man of initiative works on and completes. The world's doers have always been dreamers. Put your dreams to work, but when you dream, dream close to home. Castles in Spain can do nothing for you. Dreaming of your neighbor's neatly stacked woodpile won't advance your own log in your yard. Put your dreams to work. Plan them and organize them to know where to find them when you need them. Clean them up to see more clearly what they are made of. Take them in both hands and hold them directly in front of your face to grasp their full measure, then put them into action. Put your dreams to work. Forget yesterday's dreams. Put into practice today's dreams of tomorrow, and then tomorrow they will become reality. Put your dreams to work. Excuses are tiny droplets of defeat that a person uses to confuse and lull their own conscience. Sometimes, an excuse never justifies itself. People never seek to excuse what they believe to be right. When you do your best, you feel the satisfaction that comes from that act. If an excuse is possible, then the thing itself is an excuse. An excuse never justifies an excuse. Have you ever used an excuse to support something that doesn't hold up? Excuses are obstacles, stumbling blocks you are sure to trip over unless you set them aside and forget them. Excuses are unnatural. They wear false faces. The next time you are tempted to give an excuse, don't do it. An excuse never justifies an excuse. Envy. You who are listening to this little talk, you have things locked away in your mind that no one else on earth has or has ever had, and you have the key to access them. Even though the Almighty is in the great business of creating millions of human beings every year, no one has yet discovered a duplicate human being. Each human being is unique. Therefore, if someone else has to achieve something, let them. We are too great to bother with envy. The joy and the great success of others is a source of happiness for us. Be wise enough to let your inspiration carry you to individual success. It is not stationary. It has no limits. Congratulate your friend today, and perhaps tomorrow he will congratulate you in turn and rejoice at the opportunity. We are too great to bother with envy. Seeing. There are two ways to see, with the eyes and with the mind. Helen Keller recently stated in a public announcement that there were many more blind people than she. She was right. The blind are those who do not want to see. Keep your eyes and mind wide open. Joseph Pulitzer, the former blind editor of the New York World, did not grow his paper before becoming blind. He wrote his best stories with blind eyes. P.S. Gilmore, the great one-eyed preacher, saw and learned more than most people with a dozen eyes. The blind often see more. Keep your eyes and mind wide open. Use your eyes. See things. And once you have seen them, make them your friend. No two people see things exactly the same way. What Franklin saw in the steam coming from his mother's teapot was another utility. The followers of these men saw enough to adapt and push civilization forward by several years. Keep your eyes and mind wide open. Many of the truly great things in this world have not yet been seen. You might see some of them or their shadows in your humble task today. If you persist in seeing them, you will always learn and grow. Seeing everything that can be seen is half the work. Seeing with your mind is the other half. Keep your eyes and mind wide open. Hope is the healthy heart. When hope begins to wane, it is time to rekindle the flame. Accumulate hope. It is as easy to collapse under the weight of hope as under that of money. Hope is a potion composed of equal parts courage, will, work, and faith. Inoculate your system with these elements, and hope will hover over you. It will guide you, protect you, and make you an active factor in the world's work. Accumulate hope. The light of hope brightens the eyes, strengthens the jaw, and straightens the spine. Hope is the invisible image of success. Hope, hope, accumulate hope. Strike to grow, but strike forward, not backward. Strike to achieve something, not just to get somewhere. Strike with a good aim, for striking well means being someone. Strike to grow. The kick was fully involved in the French Revolution and clarified the political map of Europe for centuries to come. Wendell Phillips fought against human slavery and helped free a race. Disraeli fought against a great horde of strikers, earning him the position of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. History favors the strikers. Strike to grow. Strike with a smile on your face and determination in your heart, for the craft of striking is ruined by bitterness and vengeance that take tickets at the door. Strike harder against your own faults and shortcomings. Moreover, strike against everything that is useless. Time wasting, cheap gossip, the habits of aimless people that deprive you of power. Strike to grow. Strike to be recognized when you have real value to show. Strike for recognition. Strike for principles. Strike for a place where you can stand upright and honest. But in all your strikes, remember that strikes are the means and not the end. After delivering your strike, move on and accomplish your task. Strike to grow. Eliminating one of the best assets for success is the ability to eliminate any thought, habit, or action that does not contribute to or build toward a useful goal. Do not carry unnecessary things. Do not worry about small annoyances that are not worth it. Eliminate them and move on. You will be surprised by your greater agility thanks to lighter baggage. Do not carry unnecessary things. Here are some things to eliminate today. Time wasting, bitter words, worrying about things that never happen, unnecessary spending of money, the recall of involuntary mistakes. Be meticulous. This world is filled with humans, work, businesses, artworks, and industries that are torn and frayed at the edges because someone is constantly making mistakes. So whatever you do it well all the way through. Disdain may be small, but make no mistake, at that point, your success starts to die. Whatever you do it well all the way through. Have enough common sense and courage to understand that you will make mistakes. What needs to be mastered is the art of learning from those mistakes, so you never repeat them. Overcome the obstacles that stand before you, win, and move forward. Be meticulous. Whatever you do it well all the way through. Nothing valuable is insignificant, and nothing important can afford to be neglected or done carelessly. An entrepreneur is an entrepreneur because they were once a good employee. Meticulousness is at the heart of victory. No structure has ever stood if it was built with half sand and half stone. Be meticulous by engraving daily into your mind as a leitmotif this thought. Whatever you do it well all the way through. Using is one of the most inspiring little words in all languages. Think about what this great America was before men started using it. A wonderful land, true, but not really useful for humanity. But as soon as intellectual men arrived and began working, a miracle happened on the face of an old sleeping world. For using is growth. If you let your arm hang by your side and leave it there for a long time, it will wither. Lack of use always means decay, starvation, and death. Using is growth. You have a brain that can be as wonderful and great as anyone who has ever existed. But that will only happen if you put to work the little cells that aspire to do something. This is how all your experience will become an ordinary affair. Using is growth. Realize that the distinction that comes to people is simply a matter of opportunity. Brain cells work to the end by seizing every opportunity for advancement, no matter how small. Using is growth. Your used minutes, your used opportunities, your legs, arms, muscles, every power of your body and brain used mean one step closer to your goal that nothing can stop. Those who use what they have and what they get are the men and women whose names mark history. Do you want to be someone worthwhile? Then remember that using is growth. Environment is the setting, the clean atmosphere, and also the invisible power of circumstances that always remains in the call. That is, the environment is the servant of every person. You can be someone right where you are. The environment is a personal matter, so if your current environment holds you back, move away from it. Seek a new environment. Men and women who acquire the habit of doing things create their own environment. Aura now, day after day, you can do something right where you are. Bunyan, in prison, wrote the immortal book, The Pilgrim's Progress. Milton, blind and without resources, wrote Paradise Lost. John Brown, walking to the gallows with a smile, was seen as a prophet of freedom. Helen Keller, blind, deaf and mute, was the embodiment of the sun and light. These are masters of the environment. You can be someone right where you are. People who are worth something in this world make their environment so attractive that they draw people to their path. You, who employ others, surround yourself with cheerful workers. You who are employed, keep your mind filled with joyful thoughts. Your environment is what you choose it to be. Add to your stature of value. You can do anything right where you are. Worry. If you understand what worry is, you would stop using it in your affairs, because worry is the name given by the devil to his most selected aromatic spice, and the more you become accustomed to it, the more you truly know what hell is. Here is an antidote to worry. Smile, smile, smile. For when the smile is present, worry is not. Worry is simply a poison, the most treacherous of poisons, for it not only corrodes the finest powers of your mind and life, but also spreads and radiates like a contagious disease. Worry cannot harm in an atmosphere of joy, faith, hope, and work. Work, work, work. Worry is useless. It is foolish. If you realize this very quickly, you will banish it and hate it forever. Can you think of a single instance where worry has served you? Then get rid of it. Smile, smile, smile. Worry has never done anything, never earned a penny, and never helped a human being. But if you stay busy, if you constantly seek to be of service, you will never have the time or inclination to worry. Work, work. Bad temper. Who are the main obstacles and hindrances to race thieves, anarchists? No. The lazy? No. The mediators? No. Then who? It is simply the bad-tempered men and women. Stay away from bad temper. To be with a grouchy person is like holding a glass of poison in your hand to pour into your throat at the slightest opportunity. Escape this fate. Stay away from bad temper. A grouchy person never contributes anything and never ceases to cause harm. A great man who stands by a grouchy person immediately becomes a small man. Stay away from bad temper. Suppose a grouchy person irritates you. Suppose they try to destabilize you. Suppose they try to belittle you. Suppose they try to take what belongs to you. Be meticulous. This world is filled with humans, work, businesses, artworks, and industries that are torn and frayed at the edges because someone is constantly making mistakes. So whatever you do, do it well all the way through. Disdain may be small, but make no mistake. At that point, your success starts to die. Whatever you do it well all the way through. Have enough common sense and courage to understand that you will make mistakes. What needs to be mastered is the art of learning from those mistakes so you never repeat them. Overcome the obstacles that stand before you, win, and move forward. Be meticulous. Whatever you do it well all the way through. Nothing valuable is insignificant, and nothing important can afford to be neglected or done carelessly. An entrepreneur is an entrepreneur because they were once a good employee. Meticulousness is at the heart of victory. No structure has ever stood if it was built with half sand and half stone. Be meticulous by engraving daily into your mind as a leitmotif this thought: whatever you do it well all the way through. Using is one of the most inspiring little words in all languages. Think about what this great America was before men started using it. A wonderful land, true, but not really useful for humanity. But as soon as intellectual men arrived and began working, a miracle happened on the face of an old sleeping world, for using is growth. If you let your arm hang by your side and leave it there for a long time, it will wither. Lack of use always means decay, starvation, and death. Using is growth. You have a brain that can be as wonderful and great as anyone who has ever existed, but that will only happen if you put to work the little cells that aspire to do something. This is how all your experience will become an ordinary affair. Using is growth. Realize that the distinction that comes to people is simply a matter of opportunity. Brain cells work to the end by seizing every opportunity for advancement, no matter how small. Using is growth. Your used minutes, your used opportunities, your legs, arms, muscles, every power of your body and brain used mean one step closer to your goal that nothing can stop. Those who use what they have and what they get are the men and women whose names mark history. Do you want to be someone worthwhile? Then remember that using is growth. Environment is the setting, the clean atmosphere, and also the invisible power of circumstances that always remains in the call. That is, the environment is the servant of every person. You can be someone right where you are. The environment is a personal matter, so if your current environment holds you back, move away from it. Seek a new environment. Men and women who acquire the habit of doing things create their own environment. Aura now, day after day, you can do something right where you are. Bunyan, in prison, wrote the immortal book, The Pilgrim's Progress. Milton, blind and without resources, wrote Paradise Lost. John Brown, walking to the gallows with a smile, was seen as a prophet of freedom. Helen Keller, blind, deaf and mute, was the embodiment of the sun and light. These are masters of the environment. You can be someone right where you are. People who are worth something in this world make their environment so attractive that they draw people to their path. You who employ others, surround yourself with cheerful workers. You who are employed, keep your mind filled with joyful thoughts. Your environment is what you choose it to be. Add to your stature of value. You can do anything right where you are. Worry. If you understand what worry is, you would stop using it in your affairs, because worry is the name given by the devil to his most selected aromatic spice. And the more you become accustomed to it, the more you truly know what hell is. Here is an antidote to worry. Smile, smile, smile. For when the smile is present, worry is not. Worry is simply a poison, the most treacherous of poisons. For it not only corrodes the finest powers of your mind and life, but also spreads and radiates like a contagious disease. Worry cannot harm in an atmosphere of joy, faith, hope, and work. Work, work, work. Worry is useless. It is foolish. If you realize this very quickly, you will banish it and hate it forever. Can you think of a single instance where worry has served you? Then get rid of it. Smile, smile, smile. Worry has never done anything, never earned a penny, and never helped a human being. But if you stay busy, if you constantly seek to be of service, you will never have the time or inclination to worry. Work, work. Bad temper. Who are the main obstacles and hindrances to race thieves, anarchists? No. The lazy? No. The mediators? No. Then who? It is simply the bad-tempered men and women. Stay away from bad temper. To be with a grouchy person is like holding a glass of poison in your hand, to pour into your throat at the slightest opportunity. Escape this fate. Stay away from bad temper. A grouchy person never contributes anything and never ceases to cause harm. A great man who stands by a grouchy person immediately becomes a small man. Stay away from bad temper. Suppose a grouchy person irritates you. Suppose they try to destabilize you. Suppose they try to belittle you. Suppose they try to take what belongs to you. Have you ever observed a worker, a manager, or a leader in their work? They immediately see the big things, their immediate responsibility. They quickly identify what is important and what is not, then set aside the trivial and ensure that the essential is accomplished according to their instructions. Such a person is generally the one who does the most, and yet always finds time for things that are worthwhile. Dedicate your time to what matters. Try to select the tasks in your work today that seem truly essential, and then set aside and discard the unnecessary details. Focus on the essentials, for you will never succeed in this world unless you devote your time to what counts. Humanism currents are part of the progress of the race. Here is the best part of all, humanism. Humanism, we will say, is the art of being simply human. Return to humanity. Being human means being oneself to the core, and anyone who tries to be human usually attempts many things that, in the eyes of others, seem very foolish and awkward. But this is where all the beauty lies. Great and strong people are those who are exceptionally human. Return to humanity. The businessman who can see human warmth in the companion who puts on his coat, the woman of wealth and society who can be human in the presence of her kitchen maid, follow the teachings of humanism. Return to humanity. Prosperity leads to evil, espionage, adversity, and disaster make one human. Return to humanity. There are fewer human beings in businesses than there should be, because people forget that their assistants are not machines, but blood, bones, a brain, a heart, and feelings. If every person who hears this little conversation today starts their work determined to act like a human, imagine the happiness that day will bring. For being human is to be kind, considerate, generous, forgiving, helpful, inspiring, as well as making mistakes and being wrong. We seek 1,000 men of all ages up to 90 years old who have experience in the art of smiling. We want men who have learned the value of a smile, not only when everything is going well, but also those who have learned to smile when everything is going wrong, and when nothing on earth seems worth it. That is the kind of smiles we want. We want trained smiles, regular smiles, confirmed smiles, smiles that have the gift of giving smiles. We want smiles that can put a smile on people's faces where they have never smiled before. We don't care where you come from, what you do, or how many ancestors you have had. You simply must master the art of smiling, and we do not want smiles that only smile part of the day or on special occasions. We want chronic smiles. We have a job for you. We ask for 1,000. We want as many as possible. We want smiling men, but we also truly want smiling women. Where and when do we want them? Everywhere. Who wants them? Everyone. Why? To make this world the best place to live. Apply it from your home, from your office, on the street, everywhere your face leads you. But keep your smile with you, for without it no one can apply. Books. Discover what books your friend reads, and you will know what kind of man or woman you have as a friend. Books contain the wisdom as well as the foolishness of the ages, the greatest thoughts, the deepest experiences, the results of the longest and deepest experiments. Everything is preserved. In books recently, character grows from books. The character of a man is manifested in the books he chooses. The character of a nation is largely determined by the books its men and women read. The wealth of the world is in its books, not in its gold, silver, jewels, or earthly structures. Recently, character grows from books. Good books are real. They are slices of life. They tell the truth and hide nothing. Take what the book teaches, and you will know its true value without asking questions. You think, act, walk, work, and live with it for the time you are part of it. Live on the thought the writer lived. Even if he is long in his grave, he lives again, and the warmth is once more in his blood. What a marvel! It is a book. Recently, character grows from books. Good books make sympathy a feature of the world. Progress is nothing but the accumulation of the power of books. Without books, the world would rot. Good books will put poetry and music into your most modest efforts. Recently, character grows from books. The greatest makers of the world have been the greatest readers of the world. "Read again," said Napoleon to an officer aboard the ship, taking him into exile forever. "Read the poets, devour ocean. The poets elevate the soul and give man colossal grandeur." Recently, character grows from books. Read good books regularly and systematically, learn from books, love books, live books, irradiate yourself with knowledge, for knowledge kept has no value. The only knowledge worth holding is that which you give. The knowledge you acquire, irradiate it, radiate your honestly and well-earned money, and then direct it to useful ends. Share it with the faithful workers who helped you earn it. Money is a very useful thing in itself. Its total value lies in what it radiates in hopeful enterprises and noble works. Radiate your success. Nothing is as stimulating for a true winner as sharing the secrets and formulas of success that they have learned. Nature works in rotation, just like a man's success. What is yours today is others tomorrow. Your service is to obey the law of radiating today. What happened to you yesterday? For the whole rule of life and success is to radiate. Radiate courtesy. For some, courtesy may seem like a lost art not worth recovering, but this is not the case. Courtesy is one of the arts of the past that dies only with man or business, as the rise of many men and businesses has begun with it. Take time to be courteous. Emerson once wrote, "Give a boy direction and accomplishment, and you give him dominion over palaces and fortunes wherever you go. Courtesy is more valuable to a man than 1,000 letters of recommendation. Courtesy is an asset of greater power than money or influence. Take time to be courteous. A few years ago, a young man named Wallace worked behind the counter of a railroad office in Oil City, Pennsylvania, as a ticket agent, but he didn't stay there all the time. When he saw an opportunity to serve by handing tickets directly to a customer, he did it. He also looked for new ways to provide service. The business thrived, a more important job followed, and then another even greater one. Today, still young, this general passenger agent of the Erie Railroad could one day be its president. He owes his career to courtesy. Take time to be courteous. Courtesy lightens workloads, demands respect, and is a little brother to opportunity and a chair. Throughout the hours of a busy day, courtesy always elevates a person. Take time to be courteous. The courteous employee, the courteous secretary, the courteous stenographer, the courteous manager, the courteous leader in difficult tasks. Who has heard of such a person not growing, not rising to greater things? Think of these truths. Take time to be courteous and have a definite purpose, a goal. The secret of all triumphs is the unwavering struggle towards a defined ideal or plan. A man with a fixed purpose and the courage to follow his path cannot fail. What one aspires to be is already potentially there. Have a definite purpose, a goal. John Keats' early efforts were ridiculed by critics, but he paid them no mind, as he was confident in his ability. And scarcely had the criticism dried up when he delivered his wonderful poem, Endymion, to them. "I was never afraid of failure, for I preferred to fail rather than not be among the greatest," said Keats. He was only 26 years old when he died, a mere young man, but he was world famous. He had achieved his goal. Have a definite purpose, a goal. Washington lost more battles than he won, but his goal of independence was achieved. People are surprised at Woodrow Wilson's election to the presidency, a schoolteacher, but those who know the man are aware that he had been preparing for this exalted position for a quarter of a century, not with the aim of attaining the office, but with the capacity to hold it. Your goal should be to deserve the task, not just the honor. Have a definite purpose, a goal. There are no luck dogs. Winners are simply workers with a purpose. That's all. Successful business people in every city, most of whom had nothing to start with except one goal. What is your story now? The magnificent buildings and great businesses that make each city what it is have a single goal. Obtain them promptly, and then follow them with consistency and courage, for it is better to aim at a grand task and complete it honorably than to divide your goals into a dozen different objectives and succeed at none. Have a definite purpose, a goal. Gratitude is one of the best habits one can form. Think for a moment. Have you ever regretted a thank you received from someone? Has it ever made you feel mean, dissatisfied, or out of place? Has it ever made you feel remorse for the service rendered? Well, acquire the habit of gratitude. It is not necessary to express your feelings of gratitude with simple words all the time. Once you have acquired the habit thoroughly, you will live it unconsciously. Grateful men and women show their habit through their looks and attitudes. It is the most noticeable quality, moreover. It is contagious. Acquire the habit of gratitude. You meet a rude and inhumane being, do a service for them, as if they were a kind of machine. Thank them immediately, and they become human right away. Gratitude acts as a powerful stimulant, both in you and in others. It turns every day into a good day, every person into a good person, every event into good, for those who have fully mastered the habit of gratitude. Acquire the habit of gratitude. Reserve your true strength. It does not show all its power at all times. It often only shows its head. True strength has reserves of power. The strongest part of great buildings is underground, in rock, steel and mortar, where the eyes cannot see. The power of success lies in reserve. Reserve is the law of nature and life. When reserve disappears, everything disappears. The greatest battles are won with the strength of reserve. Banks remain firm and secure due to their reserve funds. Businesses continue healthy and vigorous thanks to their reserve capital. The character of a man or woman is preserved in such a way as not to be easily swept into oblivion due to the secure reserve you hold in the form of stores of honor, value, and firmness, ready for emergencies. The power of success lies in reserve. Reserve is what prevents a smile from fading into a frown. Reserve is what makes the next attempt possible after the last one has failed. The power of success lies in reserve. Human failure starts by being too proud to work for $6 a week. Human success is eager and happy to work for $3 a week at the beginning. As reserve also includes knowledge of a secure future, hidden from general view, but known to the individual. The power of success lies in reserve. Every detail of your daily work should be treated as if it were to be seen by a masterful eye. Make every task a great task. Infuse dignity, joy, and enthusiasm into everything you undertake, never forgetting for a moment that the power of success resides in reserve. For stenographers, in every crowded city there is a sought-after stenographer. Young, neat, well-bred, educated, they type with uniformity and precision. Attentive, enthusiastic, working with speed and joy in their heart throughout the working hours, supported by a good, balanced mind. This young person uses both their brain and their fingers. They do good work and would succeed anywhere. That is why today they are sought after by dozens of businessmen, and they are interested not only in their own work, but also in their employer's work. They constantly seek new opportunities to help and develop. Their character is felt in the office, and they radiate their strong influence wherever they go. They are not the type to be satisfied with little. They think about the future, which is another reason they are sought after by dozens of other jobs. They are punctual in their duties in the morning. They do not care about the hour. They are courteous, cheerful, attentive to others' interests. They demand respect and receive it. They are not part of the chewing gum, candy, vanity box, desk cult. Work for them is a business and a training. It is also a development they maintain and are proud of. They see visions, value, and personal growth that are not obtained with additional pay. This young person is more sought after than all the business establishments in all cities. Their services are urgently needed. They are required today. They will not need any qualifications other than those mentioned, but they will have the courtesy to call today without fail. They can call any business in any city, and eventually, they are required by all. Point of view. Every hour, thousands of human castaways crash ruthlessly on the Niagara of a torn viewpoint and scatter the rapids of failure in a lamentable spectacle. The reason, the helm is out of alignment. Adjust your helm before you sail. The child who goes to school with no other intention than to align their choice with the class time. The office worker who only dreams of seeing their day end after their 8 hours. The man who measures his success by the weight of his dollars, are all illustrations of a life viewpoint that has turned backward. There is only one way to reach the true harbor of real success. Adjust your helm before you sail. Adjust your helm before you sail, for a viewpoint is merely a purpose, and there is only one type of purpose that merits the effort of any man or woman, the purpose that aims towards a useful end. Adjust your helm before you sail. If you start this day with a healthy viewpoint, you will end it as a happier, healthier, broader, and greater person. How wonderful is the individual effect that a high and square viewpoint has not only on yourself, but on your entire environment. Indeed, in the same way, it applies to the environment. Adjust your helm before you sail, get the right viewpoint on life, and it will permeate your work by enriching the lives of your friends and your achievements, while at the same time bringing you complete success. Seek the right viewpoint for each daily task. In other words, adjust your helm before you sail. Learn to wait not in vain but with an active mind in your system, working in some useful effort, for knowing how to wait is mastering one of the greatest secrets of success. Learn to wait. Balzac's parents were wealthy. The son, at the age of 20, declared his determination to become a writer, to which his father objected, "But don't you know that in literature a man must be either a king or a pawn?" "Very well," replied the young man, "I will be a king." And he was relegated to a harsh attic for 10 years of work against fierce poverty and obstacles. But his waiting and final work triumphed. The name of Balzac remains among the greatest in literature of all time. Learn to wait intelligently. It is a very rare skill in itself, as it is a quality interwoven with strength, self-control, and will. Learn to wait. Engines have woven civilization and populated nations. Respect your stomach. All human stomachs are of the same mold, but no human is born taking care of their stomach in the same way. In real importance, more than any other organ of the human body, it is the least respected, the most neglected. Respect your stomach, for your success depends on it. Nothing can replace a ruined stomach. Think seriously about this when you burn its walls with the beautifully colored contents of delicate glasses. Think about it when you quickly fill its wonderful receptacle with poorly selected and hastily chewed food. Think about it when you ignore its call for regular fuel and care. Think about it when it asks you to rest. Respect your stomach. No stomach has betrayed a good guardian. A well-maintained stomach will work wonders for its master. It will strengthen the forces and elasticity in the bones and muscles, create infallible nerve centers, pump a great heart, give a will of iron and a masterful brain. Soft stomachs are more comfortable than crowns, and simply caring for them is better than Norman blood. Respect your stomach in the morning, at noon, and in the evening between hours. Respect your stomach today. It is the most important day in the world's history, as it is the last day and the only day of its kind that will return at sunrise. There is no tomorrow, only today. Worry will not be part of this day. Disappointment, fear, envy, bitterness, regrets, anger, selfishness, and others are of the past. They must have no place or voice on this day. Its reception must be real, and the work in its 24 hours must be done with seriousness and under the weight of responsibility and appreciation. There is no tomorrow, only today. Your efforts, your actions, your courtesies, your words, your written thoughts, all of these will count more with today than with all your plans laid out for the next 20 years. There is no tomorrow, only today. Manners suggest that manners make the man, not the man towards manners, because manners are the man, and indicate the way of interpreting a character with as much certainty as a weather vane precisely indicates the direction of the wind. Always be your best self. Always be your best self. Whether entering a car, an office, a house, or crossing a street, people who look like you in appearance are found everywhere. Your manners in their presence mark your position and your own pleasure. Your smile, your kindness, and your courtesy can change the abrupt attitude of an employee or the cold reception you encounter, either to your advantage or theirs. Always be your best self, as Dr. Johnson once said, "A man has no more right to say a vulgarity than another has to hit him." The man or woman of manners is the person of consideration and tact, and nothing other than this innate quality of manners is authentic. Neither money, social position, nor rapid achievements can bestow it. Always be your best self. Manners are a highly enviable possession. Few are born without the possibility of having them. Many people who possess them keep them hidden somewhere and do not use them. Discovering and practicing them as a habit is an event that should be announced. There is no better day than today to start. How about polishing them at home? How about taking them with you while reading the morning paper at your desk? How about investing them as reliable dividend carriers for your office assistants and associates throughout the day? From the humblest to the greatest, you can do it if you decide to always be your best self. Relax. Success is the result of good coordination between work and rest. Without its fraction of a second of regular rest with each beat, the heart would quickly wear out. Relaxation is stored energy. Enter any business office. Look for the person whose work seems to flow smoothly with the least friction. Study them carefully, for they are surely the leader. They have no time for idle dreams or unnecessary details. This person is never too busy to listen, learn, and relax. They ensure that each effort counts through periodic rest. Relaxation is stored energy. It has a silent and cumulative power that will surely keep you in good stead. If panic or disorder ever approaches, it is in those moments that you need every gram of energy and resources. Relaxation is stored energy. Relax while you work. Reflect as you move forward. Meditate on improving everything you do. All things can wait while a man builds and strengthens his own soul and character. Invest in relaxation. Self-control is simply masculine courage fully prepared to act calmly in an emergency. It is the man at the helm, in full power. Moreover, self-control makes a man happy because he controls himself. He can be what he wants if he wants it. For when the complex forces of the brain gather in search of a leader, the man of power steps forth and takes command. First, you are what you are. Rough hands never made you. Divinity shaped you raw, so divinity must shape you into strength. Self-control is the cornerstone of divinity. You can be what you want if you want it. Govern your own being, and you will immediately find yourself at the center of things, for you attract others to your way. The great workshop, with its thousands of wheels, belts, bolts, and nuts, with everything working in unison, attracts admiration when its wonderful power plant, similar to the human in perfect self-control, produces its complete machines. But even greater is your own human being, as under absolute control it produces worthy and infinite surpluses. You can be what you want if you want it. Self-control must consist of patience, the ability to remain calm when one wants to scream, and firm control of one's own self for the sake of the great hours. No man has ever gained anything without first gaining himself. You are a strong human package of passion, red pepper, and power. Your mix of these things in wise proportion and your control will shape you into sure success. Try it. You can be what you want if you want it. Influence. As soon as you start thinking or acting, you begin to have influence. Influence is something you cannot keep at home, and when it slips away, you cannot retrieve it. Once initiated, even if it seems insignificant, it can end up in the farthest corners of the earth. If you want to understand power, know the influence of a strong person. It is good to remember that what you have cannot be held within your influence. Keep in mind that your influence never completely disappears or evaporates into nothingness. Influence has no end. The three greatest objects of life are friends, happiness, and success. Each of them depends on adequate influence. Thus, it is good to know that even the humblest person is, after all, the owner of their own influence and can spread it in sunshine or shadows. It is up to you to choose. The greatest responsibility of a person in this world lies in how they acquire and distribute their influence. Your influence today is sure to have a huge impact on the total work of the world. Your influence on other people and the influence of other people on you will certainly become a force and a factor in the complete work of your day and theirs. Ensure that your influence remains true and healthy, and it will refresh you again and again. Facing up. Some people think that avoiding a task they need to do is the easiest thing, whereas it is always easier to face the task and tackle it head-on. Procrastinators come up with excuses to avoid what they should confront. It is unfortunate that the most costly lessons are often learned late in life. The main reason for this is our shyness and cowardice in facing each problem as soon as it arises. Many men have evaded a problem in their youth that they could have easily solved at the time and moved on, but they refused to confront it until they were forced to. Later in life, under the shelter of the bitterest pain and remorse, it takes more courage to decide to do something than to actually do it. You have a particularly difficult task to tackle today. Face it. You have an enemy. Face him and make him your friend. If you feel capable of taking on a bigger task than the one you are currently doing, confront the new task and decide to master it. Whatever your problem, face it with courage, without fear, and with the calm that comes to a person when they decide to follow their conscience. Avoidance serves no purpose. If something is worth doing, face it and finish it. Balance. Self-control is a major phase of success that has already been worked on, for there cannot be much success without self-control. Self-control is keeping a cool head when everyone else is losing theirs. Balance is a square jaw and a firm stance when guilt seems to come your way, when the desires of the guilty seem to focus on your face, when failure after failure knocks at your door, when old friends turn into enemies, when dark and threatening clouds gather. That is when it is time to keep your composure, to face the crowd, and to cut through the air with your confidence and balance. Cool heads are the winners of the battle, and you, who govern and preserve yourself through the art of balance, maintain peace while being ready for war. Ability. Your ability is the accumulated power you have available for your daily activities and the various emergencies in your life. Furthermore, ability is the assessment of your real assets that only you know to be yours. Ability is possibility, and the knowledge of your ability is in itself an extraordinary inspiration. It allows you to move forward courageously on your path, shielded from smiles, with the setting sun shining in every corner of your heart. Knowing that you have the ability to accomplish a task or achieve a certain goal is worth more than wealth. Ability is possibility. Many men have dismissed numerous workers from their jobs whose ability was not considered, but who later had to be considered in the competition when the late Marshall Field discovered unusual ability in a worker. He recognized it and then integrated him into his business as a partner. Ability is possibility. Study yourself as if you were a masterpiece in a machinery, for you are the most wonderful piece of manual work ever done. Each day, you should be more familiar with your skills and abilities than you were the day before. Your latent, undiscovered or unrealized ability might now be keeping you in mediocrity. Ask yourself if this is true. Discover what your ability suggests to you, and you might be able to be what you choose to be. Things to do. People who succeed in accomplishing more tasks and seem to have more time to spare for others are those who execute their work according to a carefully designed plan. For in the end, the one who best utilizes and exploits the 24 hours of time available to them is the one who leads and governs. Success belongs to those who see and act. Failure belongs to those who see and do not act. Having things to do and doing them according to the plan has sufficiently inspired the business world, and if it were written, it would remain imperishable in its inspiration for future generations. A unique example is that of someone who, a few years ago, was an office employee, then a salesman, then a sales manager, then a vice president and general manager of the National History Company, and is now the president of a company he organized himself, which does millions of dollars in business every night. Mr. Chalmers' secretary notes on a small piece of paper the 10 most important things to do the next day. The time spent thinking about things the night before or at the beginning of each day and organizing them logically for action is time invested in advance. Victor Hugo said that the one who plans the day's transactions each morning and follows the plan carries a thread that will guide him through the maze of the busiest life. The orderly organization of his time is like a beam of light shining through all his operations. Ancestral. You are one of those people who love to waste their precious time discovering their position relative to their ancestors. The fact is that your ancestors are not what you are. Part of the best and worst that preceded you is now somewhere within you. The wisest thing you can do is to discover the most useful qualities of your ancestry within yourself and begin to build from where they left off, creating greater and broader things. Ancestors' actions. The actions of our ancestors are elevated each time you do your work better today than yesterday. There is a story about Ney, one of Napoleon's famous marshals. During a banquet during the Russian campaign, a brilliant woman spoke of Ney and his wonderful lineage. When she suddenly asked for Marshal Ney, "Who were his ancestors, madam?" Ney replied, "I myself am an ancestor, after all." The task of being an ancestor is a serious matter. It is enough to test us and make us work to keep the red blood flowing in our veins. Only to the extent that men and women serve in this world, forget their own selfish interests, and begin to plan and care for the future of their race, can the person who does not incorporate this truth into their system help but be a better employee, lawyer, businessman, father, or citizen. And no woman can take this idea lightly without illuminating the important duties of her life. As for ancestors, well, we are all ancestors of tomorrow. For the man who has never accomplished anything, tomorrow is what happened yesterday, but that he hopes will happen today. What is left for tomorrow is rarely done today. The great task completed is always the task accomplished today. As long as there is time, as long as there is inclination, as long as there is life, health, and opportunity, what is left for tomorrow is rarely done today. Some of the greatest things ever accomplished were done in a single day. Napoleon was defeated and sent to hell on a lonely rock with armed guards all around, simply because Blucher decided to do his part with Wellington without waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow, for Emmanuel de Grosse, meant Napoleon's defeat, while for Guevara, the soul-breaker, it was a good thing. What is left for tomorrow is rarely done today. It might be easier to do things tomorrow, but if you take the risk, it is better that they are not done. Money earned today represents dividends for tomorrow. The work invested and completed today brings comfort and satisfaction tomorrow. Records set today inspire and guide great armies of fighters tomorrow. But what is left for tomorrow is rarely done today. The liar. Lying is the most contemptible of all crimes. The liar is the king of criminals. The last clean stain on a man's clothes becomes crimson when he engages in the business of lying. The truth is the highest thing a man can uphold. The heart of an honest man almost melts to death in the presence of a liar. Even the mercy of a benevolent God blushes with a bowed head of sadness upon seeing and hearing a man who lies, despised by society. The very soul of the liar revolts, bearing with it bones and flesh as vile as itself. The truth is the highest thing a man can uphold. Recently, a young man, tall, foolish, and full of promise, left his job with a lie on his lips. Upon arriving in the swirling turmoil of the great city of New York, he sought out his former friends and immediately began distributing a supply of lies more abominable than any abandoned thief. Cunningly, he traded his lies for favors and gold, and then, nervous but silent, he slid under the shelter of his lies with a naked soul, without honor or character, seeking refuge under his own tent of lies. There, self-condemned, he now awaits judgment. The truth is the highest thing a man can uphold. Mark Twain spoke more than humor when he said, "In doubt, tell the truth." Even man despises a liar, even if he is one of his own children, and nature itself closes its eyes in shame when the liar passes by. The truth is the highest thing a man can uphold. You, young man or woman, business builder, doer of things, whoever you are and in whatever niche you work, listen. Starve before lying, flee the presence of a lie like the plague, grasp the clean and strong hand of the truth, and follow your path through the long hours of each day, remembering that the truth is the highest thing a man can uphold. Move forward. This is a speech for women, single or married. The subject ensures happiness and impression. It is about advancement. Keep pace. Hold firm with the man, for he has ensured most of his steps towards something better for you. Behind the greatness and work of every man, there is always the woman of some nobility who was greater than the work or accomplishment of the man. The world will always bow its head in tribute to the mothers and wives of history makers. Keep pace. The young man whose name awaits being linked with yours is gaining momentum these days from you. You who already have him with you, what do you think? Do you keep pace? Stand in step? If not, start now. Keep pace. A man is as great as the woman who loves him, makes him, and wants him to be a great man. He can never be greater than the woman who helps him to be great. His power is yours, but if you do not give him power, his clipped wings will make him walk sadly alone, and his struggle might become a struggle against himself. Keep pace firmly while he learns. You learn while he rises. You rise while he struggles. You struggle while he wins. You win as long as this world lasts. You who sometimes think of yourself as just a woman, you will lead, you will govern after all. It is your kingdom, but at home, in business and in the eyes of the public, the man must be your love and your life. Keep pace firmly. Irregular edges. Behind every tragic failure lies the sad truth of negligence and the irregular edges left torn and incomplete. Finish as you go. A few years ago, a young man from a Western college felt anxious and discouraged. He wanted to leave his unfinished college course. He sought advice from a successful man, and here was the counsel. Don't give up. Finish something now. There are too many men with irregular edges cluttering the ranks. The young man completed his university studies with honors. Today, he is a leader and a success. Finish as you go. Many men leave work with the clock's dial, leaving their workday with irregular edges. It's the man who starts his days with irregular edges and eventually rounds off an incomplete life. Finish as you go. There is a satisfaction and a feeling of latent strength in the chest of a man who starts something and finishes it. You will see this if you do it. The most important task is always the task at hand. Finish it. Put it in order and clean when you leave it. Review it. Ensure you leave no irregular edges. Finish as you go. Make meticulousness one of your masters. Pay close attention to the trifles, gather them, and learn to know them, for it is from them that perfection arises. Finish as you go. Spectators versus players. In life, you are either on the sidelines or in the game. If you are on the sidelines, you merely watch. You are inactive and contribute to your own personal pleasure. If you are in the game, you play hard, take pleasure, and serve. You will always get more enjoyment from the game if you are a player rather than a spectator. Throughout the streets of any city or village, there are passers-by, and in stores, offices, and factories, there are workers. Workers are those who support the passers-by. Let no one do for you what you must do yourself. Merely holding a job counts for little. You must be a full-fledged worker, otherwise you may be classified with the spectators. The worst of the spectators is that he contributes neither to himself nor to others. He is a blank. The most certain law in the world is the law of compensation. Its justice operates continuously. If you provide a service, you receive a service. If you do nothing, you receive nothing. Existence alone is not living. The 24 hours must be divided between work, play, and rest, but at no time be a spectator. The tongue. One of the most difficult things to control in this world is the human tongue. Kipling never said anything truer than when he wrote that a man could hold most positions if he only controlled his tongue. Before putting your tongue into action, control it perfectly. A single tongue can cause more damage in the world than a battalion of soldiers, for soldiers can only kill bodies, while the tongue can kill reputations and characters. It is a shame that we do not have laws to curb the tongue. Shakespeare powerfully described, through the character of Iago, the terrible consequences that follow a malicious tongue. Iago not only destroyed Desdemona's pure reputation and character, but ultimately, through Othello, took her life. Force your tongue to speak useful messages or keep it still. Make it a rule in your life to use your tongue only for noble purposes. Resolve to speak in no way of any man or woman unless you can speak of their good qualities. No one has ever found happiness by hurting another's feelings or character. No one has ever failed to find happiness by speaking well of others. The golden rule applied to the tongue constitutes one of the true golden rules of conduct. George's habit: if you realized all that you miss in pleasure, growth, and power every time you delegate responsibility to another person, you would never miss the opportunity to do what you have to do. Break once and for all the habit of letting George do it. When a task presents itself to you, take it and do it yourself. In every community, there are always great, ready, generous people willing to answer any call for service when someone else backs down. These are the Georges, and if you let them do your work, they will do it. But when this happens, you step back. So, it is better to be a George yourself. The work that should be done by oneself is never as well done when delegated to another person. You are either a doer or a let-be. It is a personal matter of success or failure for what you are. People who let George do it are easy to spot. They stand on the sidewalks of all busy streets, do the easy tasks in stores and factories, are the ones who end up in jails and almshouses, and keep lawyers busy. These are the men and women too busy to do what is asked and required of them. Don't let George do it yourself. Friends. Friends are essential, just like air, food, and clothing, for he who has no friends feels lonely and useless. Who has heard of a useless man with friends? Like attracts like. No one ever obtained a friend without first resonating the friend's spirit within themselves. To have a friend, one must be a friend. The art of friendship is an art of the heart. Everything else diminishes it. The one with whom we speak and in whom we trust is nothing more than another of ourselves, transplanted where courage, joy, and kindness are always alert. We turn to our friend, and he does not lift us, but we feel reflected back to ourselves. A friend is a mutual partner with whom we do not need signed agreements. It is said that Carlyle and Jennison spent hours together without exchanging a word, then parted, and both felt inspired and elevated by the meeting. To reach the priceless veins of a friend's treasure, one must dive in. In the presence of true friends, a sort of divinity hovers. The secret of your ability to advance and succeed in your plans lies in knowing you have a friend. The glory of the joy of friends does not depend on the number. Having one true friend is sufficient. He who will truly be your friend. He who refuses to understand or protect you, but is willing to be the other half of the struggle with you through the solid and difficult hours of trial, is your friend. It is your friend who brings out the best in you. You and your friend do not plan any parades. You are who you are. The sincerity of service propels you forward, making each day as secure for success as if it had already been completed and delivered to you. If you have doubts about what you should be in the world, set yourself the task of becoming a great friend. Remember that life is too short to be just a friend and to gain friends. Play. You who quickly learn the value of play, apply to your life and when to apply it. A broad and short path to the city of peace, power, and abundance opens before you. Dare to play the game. Stretch your muscles, rest, and calm your nerves. Stir the blood and clear the mind. Play stops the hand of age and transplants youth through the years. Dare to play the game. Remove the burdens from people's shoulders, soften the wrinkles in their faces, and bring back smiles and joy. Dare to play the game. It is a worry strangler, an enemy of poor health and a powerful force in creating clear and strong thoughts. Play is a safeguard against failure. Roam the playground, engage in outdoor sports, play with your books, play with your children and others if you have none. Play before starting the day and play at its end, and occasionally skip a day to play as well. Dare to play. Play hard when you do, but never play while working, and never work while playing. Do not make work a game nor game a work. The mother. The sweetest word in the language of languages is mother. In every letter of this word, there is a richness of music so divine, with vibrating chords of love so angelic that the whole world honors mothers. Nancy Hanks, Lincoln's mother, Frances Wheeler and James Adam, the mothers of orphans, Queen Victoria, the mother of a nation of mothers. You, whoever you are, Your greatest asset is your mother. Even if you are bankrupt, discouraged, overwhelmed by failures, with hope lost, with a broken heart, torn apart by yourself, you still have one glorious day at twilight if you turn back in thought, heart, or person to your mother. The most wonderful event in the history of the world was when the first woman became a mother. Human life became beautiful because the world had its mothers. The greatest characters of any community are the mothers. The greatest community is the one that honors its mothers the most. The greatest men of any community are those who pay the highest tribute to motherhood. No one has surpassed, nor will surpass, the accomplishment of a woman when she becomes a mother. If you were to write to your mother for the last time, if she is no longer with you, how often do you think of her? You realize that everything you are or hope to be began during the years when your mother, with all her being brimming with pride, held you tightly in her arms, with eyes shining with love, following your breathing and the rhythm of the hours of your faintest heartbeats. Think about how, during those days, she enveloped you with her selflessness and sacrifices. The measure of your success will be the degree of honor you give to your mother and to motherhood. How many unkind stories would you tell if your mother could always be present? How many petty and unfair business dealings would you engage in if you had your mother's eyes on you? Do not worry about the apron strings. There is always a moment when there are no more apron strings to tie. And then you will wish they would return. If ever failure begins to press you, if friends begin to disappear, if the great figure of your will begins to waver, do this. Think of your mother and live according to the ideals she had for you. Embrace your mother as you enter the struggle of this day, and in the end, fill her wrinkled forehead with your smiles, ease her worries, and write to her even if things are going badly. Visit her often, even if it takes you to the other side of the globe. Let her living presence keep you courageous, and if she has passed from you, let her memory guide and inspire you as you once guided and inspired by your faith. Season your work with salt. Stir your salt, for salt, translated into terms of moral use, is the substance that seasons and balances the work of everyone. Likewise, it prevents drifting into mediocrity, vulgarity, and nothingness. Salt is value, courage, and a backbone refined to the degree of crystal. That is what salt is. Stir your salt. A man without salt in his system is as active as a clock without works. Neither functions. Stir your salt. The blood and body of a man are saturated with salt. When a man's salt runs out, the man runs out. Stir your salt. Salt is what gives flavor to humanity. Stir your salt. You are worth your salt if you have the courage to add to your salt. Salt has no value in itself. It is an associated ingredient. It is a complement to what you already have, to be mixed with it. Stir your salt. Salt is both the most common and the rarest thing in the world. It is nowhere, yet almost everywhere. But it is up to you to take it and use it. The salt in your work is the uniformity of effort, the solidity of purpose, and the certainty of faith in results, the hope for better things and courage for greater tasks. While you work through minutes and hours, remember that success must have its share of salt. Stir your salt. Habit. Habit is a fixed series of acts. If something is done once, it marks the path. Do something twice, and a way is traced. Do something 3 times, and a path is formed. Do what is right again and again. From the unconscious wink of the eye to the soft, imperceptible movements of a million worlds, the law of habit relentlessly governs its course. All life is just a series of habits. Do what is right again and again. The pennies saved today make the nickels in the bank tomorrow. The nickels in the bank tomorrow mean dollars in the bank next year, and dollars saved crystallize into shape over the years. Habit makes or breaks. It leads you up or pulls you down. Do what is right again and again. If you are prompt today, you will certainly be prompt tomorrow. If you are squared away once, you will surely seek to be again. The struggle for something worthwhile now can only ease the struggle for something worthwhile later. That is the law of habit. Habit develops from the smallest actions repeated again and again. Do what is right, again and again. Grow with habit. There is no other way. Start what you do. Start well or else restart. You can caress a python's eggs, but you cannot play with it. You can break bad behavior today, but if you wait until tomorrow, bad behavior will break you. Do what is right again and again.